All right, I am here with the OG Snow G, Cole Grimley.
What's going on?
Dude, thank you so much for having me, man.
Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate the invite.
I'm really glad we were able to do this. I know we kind of went back and forth a little bit about and unfortunately, this time of the year, things start really ramping up for me. So it was a little hit and miss, touch and go, but dude, it's great to be here. I had so much fun with you and your boys, a month ago now?
Yeah. I'm glad you come out and enjoyed it. That was our Virgin year. First time doing the conservation in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
We've done conservation season all over throughout the country, but Kansas was new to us. Yeah. And my man, you witness, it's going to be something we're gonna enjoy from here in the future for sure.
Well, we smacked almost 100 of them before I left.
Right. No, on the day, I think we ended up with 155. 155
so
on the day.
So that evening was...
that evening I actually brought my fiance out, and she got to truly witness why I love what I do. They gave it up that good. I mean, and the bad thing was practically the whole group left. We only had me, her, 2 guides, and so 6 of us all out there that evening, and we still had a good time. So 155 on the day.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll take it. Especially Kansas. You don't know how these birds are going to act compared to our Arkansas birds. I've chased these things in Missouri, Illinois, the Dakotas during the springtime. They're different everywhere they go. So I was wondering how they're going to do here. They're coming here a little bit different than Arkansas, where we can practically watch them get up off the roost every day. Yeah. Here, it's they're coming 20 miles, and so if the wind changes, it could push them off their direction. And are they going to make it back? And as you saw, they came back.
Well, and that was the first time for me where it felt like we were really on the X.
Oh, yes.
It was this is where they wanted to be.
That's it.
But so you think that they were traveling almost 20 miles to get there?
Well, that morning we had those birds that, they came and did that big spin early on us. Those birds had roosted on just the nearest by cattle pond to that feed. But there's definitely as many birds were feeding that field wouldn't have been able to fit in that roost. And so whatever couldn't fit probably went back to the sanctuary. And that's what made it so fun. Later in the morning when we got that good wind, the sun came up and we had those big bunches come back through. That was getting the ones coming off the hot tub.
Well, the thing, you seen that video with the shotgun failure I had?
Oh, yes. That's great.
That was that first one we had coming in.
Oh, man.
So when that was the big swarm, and I was just after this, and I don't want to bash what gun brand I was using, but it's I was okay, I need to have a legit gun dedicated to this.
Gotta step it up for snow goose season.
So what, just out of curiosity, what gun do you really like for snow geese?
For snow geese, I run 2. The best duck gun, in my opinion, ever made is a Beretta Extrema 2. That's the 3.5-inch Beretta 391 platform.
Okay.
But they don't make them. They haven't made them for 10 years. I buy up every used one in good condition I can, and they're hard to get parts nowadays. And so snow geese being snow geese, you'll wear the firing pins out, you'll do some little things, and they can be kind of a pain to get replaced nowadays.
Sure, yeah.
So behind that, I actually liked it as a duck gun as well for our old lodge in Arkansas, the SX2s by Winchester. It actually was the Browning Maxxis. That's what we like. I like the Browning Maxxis, and before Browning came out with a Maxxis 2 that you could put the extension tube on, we jumped over to the SX platform, which is the same thing they licensed to Winchester.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, we're running SX4 nowadays with extensions on them. We like them a lot.
Okay. So. I tried the SX4, and just being a bigger guy, I felt the length of pull didn't fit me well.
Really? Okay.
But I do have my eyes on Beretta this year moving forward. I think probably the A300 series or something.
I want to try the new one. Everybody knows the new one. It looks cool, but I've honestly, my favorite gun without a doubt, Beretta Extrema 2, the 391 platform, and I wish they'd never changed it. From there, we went to A300, A400, the Unico, all. I've tried them all.
Yeah.
I'm not near as impressed as I am with the old school Beretta Extrema 2.
Interesting. I don't even know that one. It's like that sometimes. It's I was talking to somebody about this with archery, and not to get too sidetracked here, but it's sometimes a company will almost peak on a particular model.
Right.
But as a company, they're we have to keep growing and changing and expanding. And it kind of sucks for the consumer, because it's hey, if you just kept making this, everybody would be happy, but it's logistically just doesn't make sense. But man, I know for a fact, after that, I'm going to snow goose hunt every year.
Oh, I mean, that's the thing. I tell every waterfowl out there, if they could experience what you got to experience that one day, actually, should be honest with you, you should hang it up. You should hang it up. You should never goose hunt again, because you're going to learn why they drive us crazy and that we keep going back. Snow geese are the absolute worst about it, which is hard because you put in the most work with snow geese the way we do it than anybody, or anything, should I say. We work our butts off chasing the X. That's all I've ever done. Yeah. We attempted some permanent spread stuff back in the day. It's not for me, not for the amount of land access we have, both in Arkansas and Kansas and everywhere else we chase them. And without a doubt, everybody should get to experience a day like you experience. Yeah. But my man, if you chase snow geese again, you're going to think you have everything lined up, and they're going to come by and flip you the feather, is what we call it. Yeah. You remember that morning? I start every morning of every snow goose hunt with that line. The most consistent thing to snow goose hunting is it's inconsistent.
Right. And that was a great speech too. I love, like, you got me fired up. It felt like a basketball game, like
right. Yeah. People see me on the social media stuff. We play a persona there, OG Snow G, and they think that that's me all the time, 24/7. And I like to have fun more than anybody, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to this company, there's a reason why I've been in business for 20 years. And when we're in the field with our customers, you will receive nothing but professionalism from us. I think you saw that firsthand. Yeah. I get a lot of guys that hunt with us, and they think that I'm going to honestly be more lean back and more funny guy. And then they hunt with us, and they go, man, this is the tightest ship we've ever hunted with as far as a commercial operation. And that's the thing. We find a way to figure out how to do both. We can still have fun. We can still be OG Snow G and get all the laughs, plus be a hype guy, and make sure that you enjoy every minute the most you're going to be, and make sure you get the most out of that experience, but at the same time make sure that we're safe and professional.
Yeah. And I've definitely been on some outfits before where, look, we all have to start somewhere, right? So if a guy's like, hey, come do a specklebelly hunt with me in Arkansas for $300, I'm like, all right, the bar is kind of low, right? But you being in the game 20 years, I kind of want to dive into that. So you said you started when you were 16.
Yep.
In Arkansas?
Yep. I've been, I lucked out, spent some time when I was a teenager in BB, Arkansas. They got a little sale barn every Saturday morning. You can buy everything. And I used to be infatuated with the guy that sold quail there. He allowed me to be a bird boy for a shooting preserve. Okay, and I would go release quail and pheasant before he'd have guys go walk through and shoot them. A place just north of there, El Paso, Arkansas. Wings and Rings was the operation back in the day.
Are they still running?
I don't know if they are, honestly. They ran for a long time. They were in business for at least 30 years. They were in business for 20 years before I ever did bird boys with them at 13. Huh. And
just out of curiosity, what's the job pay like that for a 13-year-old?
Oh, back then it probably paid $20 a day, maybe that, and maybe you could keep a couple free quail or something.
Sure, yeah.
And back then I had 3 acres, and I thought I could turn it into a wildlife preserve at 13 years old, and wanted to be like all the greats managing property, and so I was willing to do whatever I could, even if it was just meeting people and having some fun. From that, I got the opportunity at a really young age, 14, 15, to do some weekend work at a pretty prestigious duck club that was in my area. Bought me a snow goose spread. I say that I got a 600 Texas rag snow goose decoys for Christmas when I was 14. I learned how to kill geese when I was 15 in them. And at 16 years old, I wanted a business card and thought you had to have a true company to have business cards. So my mom and I jumped on LegalZoom.com, and for $99, we bought a LLC, On a String Outfitters, and never looked back.
Yeah.
Never looked back. It's taken me around the world. I've guided just about every species in this continent for the most part. Big game, small game, fish, captain's license. We have a sport fishing lodge in Florida. We do turkeys all throughout the country. We offer all 4 subspecies of turkeys, plus our new place in Hawaii.
Yeah. Your fiance was just telling me that what is it? She
has the fastest Grand Slam, single season Grand Slam completed by any woman, as well as Hawaii women's state record. She can't kill a turkey without getting some kind of certificate that she got some kind of record.
It's funny. It seems like that. It's like, it'll be like the fiance or the wife of somebody who has all sorts of accolades or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
like you can jump in right at the top and like do some awesome stuff.
Now she's about it. I don't baby her, never have, never will. I don't carry anything of hers. She carries stuff of mine, and but she will. She gets out there and hunts. She doesn't know any better. She's a city slicker.
Yeah.
She got thrown into a commercial camp that we do this on another level, and that's all she knows. So when we go out and buddy hunt or pleasure hunt, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
She still can't do nothing but take it serious.
Yeah.
And when you take it serious, you're going to have some good results.
Yeah. Well, so that's cool that snow geese was kind of like your first, almost like passion, it seemed like, down there.
Yeah, ducks and geese. Being from Arkansas, I was only ever dumb enough to get one tattoo, and I got 2 ducks right here on my chest, and I didn't want to get the little stars everybody was doing back in the day. And so ducks and geese, when I was young, was chasing geese and ducks everywhere I could. Back in the day, we used to be able to do some guiding on the public land timbers in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Started there, had some family farms I had opportunities to. When I was 17 years old, I put the largest dermatologist in the world in a snow goose spread, and he could not imagine. Now, you got to remember, this is at a time where in the state of Arkansas, there's less than 10 people offering spring snow goose hunts. The conservation order is brand new. Mm-hmm. There's probably less than 50 people in the entire North America offering a spring conservation snow goose hunt. And a doctor jumped in my spread and said, why can you not go somewhere that offers 5-star accommodations and I can bring 20 people on a corporate group?
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know. And he says, all right, let's go to business. And taught me a lot about this industry. We purchased a piece of property, developed it for waterfowl. That's where the original farm from my development waterfowl program started from. Next thing you know, he built a $4 million lodge, 12,000 square feet of heated floors, as I used to say, and turned it up and said, here you go. Here's you a 5-star snow goose lodge. Get to work. And those opportunities and the people we meet in this industry, it changed my life.
Wow. That's incredible. It's always nice when you kind of get somebody who gives you that first opportunity, or you were already putting in the back end work, but sometimes you just need that injection from somebody who's like that.
That's it.
And then with, you're an intelligent person and you had that passion. It's like when those things kind of converge, really, really great things can happen.
It really is. My mom was a single mom, so it was great to have a guy like that truly loved and enjoyed the outdoors, managing property to the nth degree, and had a truly blank checkbook to do it with. That's the man there on the wall, actually, little Dr. Dow. And man, I appreciate all the opportunities he ever gave me in life. Everything from the opportunities at the farm, at the lodge, to just teaching me how the networking and there's a society out there. When he came to me, the lodge was done. We're looking at this beautiful place that sleeps 24. And he says, all right, you're going to sell a snow goose hunt, and the minimum's $20,000 for me to open the doors for you. And I said, Dr. Dow, I don't know anybody that's going to book I don't think you can sell a $20,000 snow goose hunt. He literally didn't answer. He didn't reply to that. Picked up his phone, made a phone call, called one of his frat buddies who's a doctor up in Michigan, and said, all right, send the invoice to the company. Once you learn how that side of this industry works, it was truly a blessing. I'm 34 years old, and this is all I've ever done, and I have had a good ride. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because in Stuttgart, it's like, there's only one reason there's an airport in Stuttgart, Arkansas.
That's it. So.
And it's not little charters going, or not little prop planes flying in and out of there.
That's it.
They are.
And he overthought everything. Like everything was the nth degree. Even the location of the original Lone Oak Duck Lodge, it was all selling point. We were 20 minutes from Max Prairie Wings in Stuttgart, Arkansas, and we were 15 minutes from the international airport there at North Little Rock. So, I mean, it was all done exactly for the conveniency, and with conveniency comes value.
Yeah.
And that's what we offer.
Yeah. I've done, even if you get out there as far as England, Arkansas, 20, 30 minutes out, you can still get in some nice lodges out there. But, it is interesting though, because you were saying it's always, what am I trying to say here? When you're on like the come up of something like the conservation season, because now, max contest.
Oh, I know. It's not the industry, the snow goose hunting in general has changed so much since when I first started in this. I like to imagine that there's a world championship for this now versus we started hunting these things to get them out of wheat field for farmers, and the best they would always come back if you just scared them. And so the only way to really scare them good was to shoot them with a group of people. And then we talked people into paying to be those people. And then, you know, we used to use a decoy that was a trash bag on a wooden dowel rod.
Yeah.
And to think of that to, you know, we've got trailers and trailers fulls of full bodies nowadays and all sorts of electronic decoys. Back in the day, it was a trash bag on a stick and something we called a jack kite pole, which was a painter's extension pole with some white stuff that flapped around up there. And you ran off of a one speaker e-collar system that ran off 4 AA batteries.
Yeah.
I mean, to go from that to what we are nowadays, it's insane.
So I was kind of surprised by the size of the spread that we used because it wasn't the world's biggest snow goose spread.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, like say in Arkansas, we run, I say that, we're done running. Now, don't get me wrong, you can kill them over it. I've been responsible for tens of thousands of birds over sock style decoys, but we're done with them. I don't think we're ever going back. But typically back in the day, we would run, say, 900 socks and 120 full bodies or something. Some days we would switch it up. Used to each what we would call spread, which would be, you know, what we would book a day. But each group of hunters in that trailer, each spread would have its own trailer. We would have a sock spread in there that would consist of 900 to 1,200 socks, 120 full bodies, or we'd run just run a full body spread at them. Usually about 300 or 400 full bodies is all it takes. When you chase the X, when you do it like that, if you're not hunting the X, if you're hunting traffic, if you're hunting migrating geese, then yeah, you want some big decoy spreads out there. You want to look big. You want to be a lot of white out there for drawing power. But when we do it our way, I want to just say, hey, this is where you were. We come back to the same spot. And for us, we focus a lot more on getting hid than we ever do putting decoys out nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes us, a lot of times I will do the decoys by myself and then let 4 guys just work on blinds.
Yeah. And we were brushed in really good. I mean, in that little kind of dip in
that little waterway, that was a good hide.
It was perfect. I mean,
they never knew we were there.
Well, and it makes sense kind of why you would want to go full bodies because the way they come in, right? Just straight above. It's like, yeah, you know, they could be looking at a sock, but you know, people say like we need more orange feet on field decoys and if there's no beak there, but it's got to be just weird to be a snow goose, right? Because you're just in this massive thing. It's almost like, can I even fit in there?
Right. Especially that morning. Gosh, that morning was pretty. I was actually reminiscing some of those videos just the other night. Just not even the volleys we were shooting in, just them coming in prior. That doesn't happen in Arkansas. I mean, literally in Arkansas, I can count on 2 hands how many times that's happened in my life. And so, sure enough, the first day of snow goose hunting I ever do in Kansas, boom, they do something I'm not used to seeing. Boy, when that happened, I was just about to walk out of the field. And then when they went back to that little cattle pond roost and roosted, I said, well, heck, let them sit down and see if they'll do it again.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I heard one of the boys down the blind say, hey, it's shooting time. And I heard him get off that cattle pond again. And I said, well, how dumb are they? Well, they look at it a 10th time. I mean, they I don't know how many times they swung and just kept swinging and swinging before shooting time and landing and just, oh goodness. And I said, well, I'm not going to be able to walk out of here they come. And so I sat there, I was like, oh, well, look, I mean, I really thought you could have flipped a coin that they were going to do what they did or they were going to fly over the top of us at 40 yards because they already were educated.
Yeah.
And oh no, they come in, did the thing, made one swing. When they made the swing, I said, oh, it's game on, boys.
Well, I think there was a group maybe a couple miles back that were getting into them, and then maybe a group a couple blocks up as well.
Right.
We heard, but I was looking around and just kind of seeing their patterns and stuff. And like I said, it felt like the first time I was like, we are unequivocally on the X. Like,
yes.
This is no doubt.
Even we'd scare them. They'd leave, then they'd kind of come back toward us, you know?
Yeah. No, it was awesome, man. And so yeah, you got into Arkansas and got into snow geese, and that's really cool. Like, cause I was curious, and I'm not like a pocket checker, but I'm like, man, Cole's doing some pretty big stuff. Is this just all like kind of?
Oh, believe it or not, we were a lot bigger than this. At one point in time, we were, as far as I know, North America's largest snow goose operation at one point in time. We ran 5 different states, a total of 9 different spreads out in one day. Out of those 9 spreads, 7 of them being chasing the X, which is a ton of work versus permanent spreads. In Arkansas alone, we ran out of 4 different lodges that had a total of 76 beds to fill on top of day hunters.
Yeah.
You ever showed up to a truck stop with 140 guys there to do liability in the morning? You're like, all right, 12 of you with this guy, 12 of you with this guy, and you try to drive off, and the wrong guy follows the wrong guy down. Oh, man, convoy scrambling back in the day was something to do. And what I learned, honestly, it's just not for me. I loved it. It was fun. At the time, we had the most snow geese the highest snow geese the population has ever been. And the restores still couldn't withstand the pressure. It had to change the way I hunted. We had 5 spreads going out in my home county every single day.
Yeah.
Now I used to be able to hunt in my home counties from the start of season to the end of season. Well, now I get 2 weeks with them. All my geese are gone. Well, no wonder. I've been chasing around every single day with all these spreads. Now, it's not the same as what I thought it could. So I'm having to running farther, more expense, more cost. I like to say I refined, but we just looked things as a business standpoint and said, all right, we got to make some money. We've got income, but we're not making anything. And so what I like to say is we refined it. Now we run 2 operations in Arkansas. I tell myself I'm not, but every single year I end up taking a 3rd spread down there and going and booking a whole nother thing, just guys that want to hunt with me. And my 2 crews in Arkansas, they're kicking butt. They absolutely do an amazing job for me. We're booked out every year out of those 2 lodges. And I can't say enough. It's just a testament to a good, loyal crew of guys that understand. They went through the training. I oversaw everything, and then I left them. And before, I didn't try to open up 2 lodges. I got a good crew of guys that understand how this lodge, this camp, these farmers work. And then I went and did another one, replicated the process, and decided, okay, let's keep it at what it is. Let's not get too big for our britches. And honestly, we're, as far as the snow goose world goes, we're probably 1/3 or a quarter of what we used to be, and we honestly make more money now.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you could see, I see spreads go up for sale all the time.
Oh yeah.
People want to get into it. They want to smack some geese, but then it's like nobody wants to drag that trailer out, set up 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 decoys.
Those decoys are fun until you're spending, $700 a year at a storage unit to put them things.
Yeah.
And so for us, we run everything. We used to run everything just one season, so we sold it all every year. But for us as a company that bought multiple spreads, we could typically buy it at, a 40% discount, run it for a season. Well, then we're selling it at a 40% discount. And literally it's invest one time and you get new decoys every year. We did that. Honestly, I get tired of every year having to have kids deal with the Facebook marketplace. So now we try to get 2 years out of them. I start yelling at them, hey, try to keep them clean. Don't throw them in the mud.
Yeah.
But it is what you can when you're chasing white geese.
Yeah. Well, and kind of touching on Arkansas, it's become such a thing. I mean, it is the thing.
It's the thing.
I have friends in Oregon who are like, oh, you live over there now? Man, I really want to get them coming into the timber. I'm like, there's a lot of other places to hunt them too in Arkansas. But
No, I was blessed. Timber hunting as a kid, out, just having I've had a aluminum boat since I was 4 years old. And so literally being able to go to the river and go chase backwater at your fingertips, especially before it is what it is nowadays. And then same thing with the white geese. People don't understand. I was chasing white geese where my 3 home counties, I was the only spread. I remember I had been chasing geese for 5 or 6 years before I was headed to Stuttgart one day, leaving out of Carlisle, and I look on my left over there before we got to Isabel's, and there's the crappiest looking spread I've ever seen in my life. And I said, what in the heck is that? And I go out there, and it's some guys from South Dakota. I was like, I didn't know South Dakota had a season. I didn't know we didn't have, internet or fingertips. I didn't know they shot snow geese in South Dakota back then. I said, South Dakota, what are you doing here, Jay? Like, duck season's closed. Go back to South Dakota. The only reason y'all come down there. And I was so amazed that somebody was, interested in coming down there. At the same point in time, you got to remember, I've been doing this long enough. When Facebook became a thing, I would post a snow goose hunting picture, and I would have avid waterfowl, avid duck and goose hunters get on there tagging Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, and they didn't even know the season. They didn't understand that there was no limit, that there was no plugs in your guns. I would put up a volley, boom, 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 and people, hey, you don't have a plug in your gun. I spent 5 years of my first 5 years having to educate people, hey, this is a hunting season with no limits, no plugs, e-collars, and literally everybody, avid waterfowlers, first time they ever saw it, the first snow goose volleys they ever saw. Having been there, set up, we call it the white goose gold rush. All right, back in the lodges, we call it the white goose gold rush. Honestly, there was some years in my life that if I'd have been better with my finances, I could retire. But we call it the white goose gold rushes. I couldn't buy enough spreads. You could fill those seats if you had them, and so they're just. the market wasn't diluted. The states didn't do a good job at regulating who can do this. So every Tom, Dick, and Harry with a Facebook page, a driver's license, and a pulse, and a couple decoys can become an outfitter nowadays.
Yeah.
And the gold rush is what it is.
So what do you think about that? I mean, I know Arkansas raised their non-resident guiding prices recently, and I think even the resident guide prices went up.
Both of them went up.
So I think about like this type of stuff where it's like, I think the free market's important, right? But I spent a lot of time in the cannabis industry and free market states, and it crushes the industry.
Right. Look at Oklahoma versus other states.
Versus Missouri.
Right.
Like some of my friends are big business owners, cannabis owners in Missouri, and there's 10, 15 players.
Yes.
And it's like, if you can just do your job well, you're going to do it well.
And everybody can grow and cultivate in Oklahoma, and they can't give this stuff away, from what I'm told.
So it's kind of difficult, right? Because I'm like, this is America.
Right.
We demand free market.
Right. That's it.
But a bunch of Tom, Dick, and Harrys are going to kind of jack it all up.
I know. It's a double-edged sword. It honestly gives me the opportunities to go all over the country and have the amount of camps that we do. But at the same time, man, I guess we made it look too cool or something, because everybody's trying to get into it. And it's just, you just don't have the piece of the pie. Even if you are, I try to tell people, I know what it's like to be North America's largest snow goose outfitter. Mm-hmm. Whoever it is nowadays, sucks for them. Yeah. Sucks for them, because it wasn't a big enough piece of pie for me to want to keep it up. Yeah. And it dang sure ain't that big of a piece of pie now.
Well, and for me, I felt like the right time to get into it, because you start reading in like DU magazine and stuff, and it's like, hey, the snow goose population is finally declining.
Yeah, so I have some words
what do you think
about
about that?
All right, so and honestly, not just taking this, any snow goose hunter that's hunted with me for the last decade, I can make a phone call now and call a hunter that's hunted with me over 10 years ago that will say I said this exact line. But they're going to take, I've been saying this for 10 years, at least 10 years. I take that back. I can go back to a post I made in 2017 stating that I wanted to be the first outfitter to implement a 10-bird limit, and they roasted me on the internet.
10 birds.
10 birds. I believe that's enough to have a good day of hunting. 10 birds per person. Yeah. All right. I wanted to implement that limit and asked and they said nobody would book food. They roasted me on the internet. Mm-hmm. But they weren't there when I was chasing snow geese back when you had to have a plug in your gun before you could shoot them in March. Okay. The only way you were able to shoot them in March is if you had a depredation permit to keep them off the wheat fields.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so before this was a whole thing, there was a time where we had an overpopulation of snow geese. That's long and gone. Yeah. I mean, they said for forever, their words were, you're not slowing the population. No, what are you doing? You're not bringing the population down. Mm-hmm. You're slowing the progression. That's what we got told for 10 years. Okay, that was only true for about the first 3 of those 10 years. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we were bringing the population down, and they kept saying it, and they kept saying it. I've been saying for 10 years ago, look in your history books, the page in there where they talk about the North American bison that used to roam the plains by the millions, and you see that cowboy standing on that buffalo skull photo. They're going to take our Arkansas snow angel pictures back when we used to kill 200, 300 a day consistently, and turn them black and white, and they're going to talk about this majestic, great lesser snow goose that used to fly the prairies by the millions, and we wiped them out. And it's just due to mismanagement, honestly. It's just due to mismanagement. And it's not just, everybody, I think every state, it's pretty self-evident that the outdoorsmen aren't really happy about how their state's being managed as far as their hunting opportunities. Yeah. And it goes same thing for the federal level.
I mean, see, so this is like a huge thing on my mind often, is it's especially on Facebook, right? Everybody in every state. I joined the Nebraska Deer Hunters Facebook group recently, and that was a mistake. I mean, it's like, look,
we are our own worst enemies.
Yes.
I'll be the first to say it.
Well, and I probably shouldn't even say this on a podcast, but if like a anti-hunter was to get in there in some of these groups and see the divide and how nasty people are to one another, it's so much ammunition.
If they were smart enough to do like propaganda, like they do with the war and everything you see nowadays, if they were smart enough to do that and get in there and make some AI propaganda stuff, boy, they could have us at each other's throat.
Yeah. But that's one of the reasons why I did love the snow goose thing, is like, I felt like, okay, maybe this is one of those things that won't last forever. we'll see it trickle down. You know, we'll go from unlimited to 50 or so. Maybe
it's already coming. There's already states. Texas just restricted theirs. There's other states that are going to be restricting their conservation hunts. It's coming, and honestly, I feel like it's too late. I feel like it's honestly too late for us to have the hunting opportunity that snow goose has provided to me, that I grew up with, that I know as. I think we're honestly to the point where this will be like you're hunting lessers or you're hunting specks in Arkansas or something.
I mean, specks are my favorite, and the fact that we only get 2 is like kills me. Because I've heard of guys, there was like times where like there was 5,
right?
And now I'd be like 5 specks in a day would be amazing.
In the last 10 years, they've bumped it back and forth from 2 and 3 in Arkansas. Same, I believe, out here 1 to 2 different states. But you know, that's what snow geese was fun. Snow geese was an even playing field. Right? It didn't matter if it was me, Cole Grimley, and I was sitting at a feed with 10 enclosed trailers and 30 guys ready to start putting out decoys. If those geese picked up because of a hawk and went over there to this road, and your grandpa had, you and your high school buddies could go out there with anything, some trash bags on a stick, and go have fun with it. And so it didn't matter who you were. We were all on a level playing field. And that's where half of the mess comes from, because you have some new kid on the block. First day he gets a 30-mile-an-hour wind and a decent flight line. Oh, he thinks he's King Kong. And so, and then next thing you know, pissing contest gets started, and here we are, waterfowlers being waterfowlers, getting in. And I say that, outdoorsmen being outdoorsmen. I don't know why, but I will be honest, we are our own worst enemy.
The conclusion I've ultimately come to it is like the best I can do is lead by example, and it's easy to jaw jack on Facebook. It's hard to go 5 miles off the trailhead if you want to kill a big mule deer in Nebraska or whatever. It's like, yeah, of course, you know, this WMA is absolutely packed, but it's like you guys didn't go but half a mile to the trailhead. You seen there was 20 cars at that trailhead. You know, and the snow goose thing's kind of the same way you know, even the farmers out there, they're obviously hip to the game as well. I'm sure, like back then,
especially in Arkansas,
right? It was so you could probably get
back
permission.
Then, get rid of the dadgum things. Heck, I started when they couldn't imagine us putting decoys. They like when we went and asked for permission, and then we would drive down there and watch them. The farmer would pull up and like, "Hey, why didn't you get rid of them?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna shoot them up." No, go out there and get rid of them. How you asked to get rid of them? And it's like, oh. And then nowadays you go to Arkansas and you pull up and they want to know who outfit, what lodge, and they're hoping it's one of the fancy ones because they know they're getting more that day than they typically would. But it's a thing. When we knock on the doors in Arkansas, they answer. Used to, it was no problem. Well, then it was, you had to know the guy to get on him, and everybody else was getting no. Well, then it was so many people were bugging him for a couple years, they got to like, they didn't want the geese to land on their properties because they were going to get 50 phone calls that day. Now it's been enough of that they know they're going to get the phone calls, that they better accept some money. Arkansas is one of the poorest states and things. Waterfowl and paying for waterfowl is a very common practice, been happening for decades and decades. And so they finally come around and said, well, heck, I'm going to treat this like ducks and make some money off of it. And now when you knock on a door and make a phone call in Arkansas, you're practically telling them, you know, how many guns you got, because he's figuring out how many that is. He's getting paid per head.
They know the game. It's there's times in Arkansas that I'm regularly reminded of like levels of poverty. I remember one time I was my buddy, he let me hunt some property he has out in South Fayetteville, and you know, I'm pulling up bow hunting. I got probably, you know, $5,000 worth of camo and bow and everything on me. And I didn't kill anything that day. And I go down to this gas station and I'm like, man, I'm just going to get me a little candy bar or something. Spend $4 on a candy bar. Sure enough, this little black girl kind of walks in right behind me. And she's like, can I get like 50 cents on pump one? And I'm like, oh man, this is fucking, there's some serious separation here. I seen it again. I went down to Fordyce, you know where that's at, down there in South Arkansas, to get the dog. And, you know, the folks I got him from, it didn't seem like, well, they weren't rich by any means, you know. And then I'm at this little, I think it was a Walmart or something like that. And you kind of look around, it's like, dang, yeah, people are, it's just a totally different economy down there.
No, when I was young, I didn't know how to handle it. Honestly, everybody kind of, people that know me from back in the day know I used to get wild. And boy, I'd fight for my white geese. And that's just, it's just a product of our environment. My mom worked her butt off. She was a single mom, worked her butt off her whole life, and just with that in Arkansas, it's still nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still nothing. So I didn't grow up with much, little to nothing. But she would always, she could come up with the gas money to go drop me off the woods somewhere,
Yeah.
or go drop me off at a feed and let my buddies go chase. Every weekend growing up, middle school, junior high, my house was just pallets everywhere, little boys sleeping everywhere on the ground, and we were all waking up getting to go hunting somewhere because I lived right behind a really, really cool waterfowl sanctuary that was privately owned and had access to some property back there. And boy, you factor that into growing up. I started my outfitter at 16. I got in trouble in 10th grade for missing too many days. I was a nerdy kid. I had a full ride scholarship to go to do wildlife biology. And I threw away that opportunity to miss more days of school and go chase ducks. And then 10th grade, I dropped out of school right there, January 1st, second semester of 10th grade. Dropped out, pissed away a scholarship. And I'll never forget, duck season ended. And I could guide duck hunts. Getting a duck job was easy, but it was, then what? Well, luckily was when the very beginning of the snow geese. And so we started the whole thing. And, the first couple of years, it barely enough money to pay for food and gas to get you by for those couple months in the springtime. But then it completely changed.
Yeah.
And then, next thing you know, we're, say on average 300 a day. And, you got... let's do the math on that. 300 a day. You got 100 guys out in the field.
Yeah.
You do the math.
It's good money. It's really good money.
I'd fight for my white geese.
Yeah.
And not just that, but I had it all myself. I was doing it before everybody. So when the influx came in and everybody wanted to get into it and other people were doing it, I didn't like competition, especially not in my backyard.
Yeah.
I mean, I had just had an area so large and was the only person running it from such a young age that, man, when I started to see that, I didn't handle it well. And by the time I started to see it, I was making too much money that for my little poor podunk ass to give up wasn't happening.
Well, and that's those more rural areas like that, you have to.
Yeah.
And I've found that, I lived in Oregon for 15 years, and it's much more of a talk shit behind your back, smile in your face kind of place. In Arkansas and whatnot, man, and I almost appreciate the realness of that more. It's like, if you don't like me, you can just fucking say that, and we can get to it.
That's it. That's it. Everybody's ever seen my mug shots. We will meet up on a gravel road in Arkansas. We are, especially over some white geese. Especially over some white geese. Back in the day, it was the timber. And we can talk about that on another time, Arkansas timber. But the guides back in the day were the referees. And when they got rid of the guides, the timber went to crap. Nobody was refereeing it. Well, a lot of us snow geese hunters, I've been telling people for years, when it comes to snow geese, I am not scared. I've got my receipts for the time I put in and the big things I've done. Because of that, I don't care who you are, how long you've been doing it. If you ain't been doing it longer than me, and not many people have, I don't care if you are a new kid on the block. If you're doing something a certain way that I think is going to interfere with the longevity of what little of the snow goose hunt we get left, however long it will last, I will personally step out and say, hey, you need to step back across that line. And not just me, there's plenty of big names in the industry who'll do it. And that's the thing. If the states aren't going to regulate us, and somebody's got to. And the OGs, I guess you could say, we're not scared to step up and say, hey, new kid, that ain't the way it done, or you look stupid or something. And next thing you know, egos get brought into place because new kid's got a good win one day and he makes a pile, and boy, next thing you know, he gets fun.
But it's that type of thing, he could have been that same, poor kid trying to see an opportunity. I mean, if South Arkansas didn't have waterfowl, it would be a much different landscape. I mean,
our ag industry is nothing now.
Really?
Our ag industries. I've got. It was pretty eye-opening experience to get back. I've been gone. I live in West Palm Beach, Florida now. I've been in Kansas developing waterfowl properties almost for 2 years straight now. I haven't been home much in Florida. I surely haven't been to my home state of Arkansas enough as I've been the last 2 years. But to go back and go see all my landowners that we do business with, like the ones that we broker their duck hunting ground, they're doing okay. And then the ones that I go to, they have kept their duck hunting ground, and I've been able to hunt the high ground for geese all these decades. some very large, successful landowners. I witnessed them on what it looks like when you're one of the large landowners of Prairie County after you take 3 hits in a row. I watched a young man who's his youngest son that I have seen being a spoiled little brat my whole life. He's been getting to go on free guided hunts with me for years. He got a brand new TRX or something when he was 14 years old for his hardship license. And the kid come to me this year and says, hey, I'm going to lease out the duck stuff that my dad's never leased because he let me hunt it because I don't know how we're not going to file bankruptcy. And if you ever need any, like if he asked me for a job. And I couldn't imagine this family, his, offsprings of this family ever asking me for a job one time. And that's just what a couple hard years of farming in Arkansas will do to you. You mix, our poor ground with high input costs, and our farming's not getting any easier. That's why, like with our realty company, Hunt Rec, it's great to be able to educate landowners on what the true going market value is of these properties, and pay them more per acre than they would ever imagine. And hopefully keep some of these afloat for a couple generations.
Oh yeah, no. So I talk about this a lot, right? Because it's like you'll see farm land prices get astronomical sometimes. Correct. People will be like, oh, I know what I got. It's in South Arkansas and I want $15,000 an acre. And it's like, this is all scrub brush. What the hell are you talking about?
Exactly.
And it oftentimes is probably people acting out of desperation, or their son who lives in, Oregon, parents inherits the land and he's like, oh, I seen online that Arkansas land's worth $15,000 an acre.
Right.
It's crazy. So I didn't really, like I said, when I first met you, I didn't really know who Cole Grimley was or the OG Snowgy, any of this. I wanted to smack some geese, right?
Right.
But then I seen a property go up for auction, and I looked in the comment section on it, and someone was like, looks like something Cole Grimley would buy. And I was like, this is so unrelated. I mean, it's related, but it wasn't like something that I seen you interact with or whatever.
Right.
So, I mean, you're known as like a buyer out there, really.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know it, but I wear many hats. So we run duck and goose lodges in Kansas. I own the Lone Oak brand. We had some lodges in Arkansas under that brand that we've recently sold. Brought the brand and decided to bring it throughout the country now. We run some other lodges in Arkansas. We do all 4 subspecies of turkeys. Now, the only full-time camps we do is Osceola Island, which we run out of my Palms. I also have Palm Beach Sport Fishing Lodge, which is West Palm Beach. We're on the Palm Beach Inlet, Singer Island. But for 6 weeks a year, the Sport Fishing Lodge turns into my turkey lodge, Osceola Island. So we do a 6-week turkey camp, and then we do 2 weeks a year that we offer a Grand Slam package. You get all 4 subspecies on one hunt. Now we do 2 weeks, 1 week doing Easterns, 1 week doing Rios with our Grand Slam hunters, and then we end up doing our Merriam camp. I've got a ranch out in Trinidad. We've got a beautiful lodge out there. We do elk, muleys, Merriam's turkey for a private ranch out there. Both my Osceola camp and my Merriam's turkey camp is absolutely jam-packed full. Literally someone would have to die for a date to come available. My guys take the same dates every single year. We offer a presidential package. This is way more than just a turkey hunt. People love that when they come in for the experience, and they want that. This past year, we just opened up a new company and a new lodge, Kona, Hawaii, Island 49. And so island-49.com, but we are the most expensive Osceola turkey hunt in the world. We are the most expensive Merriam turkey hunt in the world. Hawaii is the most expensive turkey hunt in the world. And that's the way we market it, baby. It's the most expensive turkey hunt in the world.
And what turkeys do they have out there?
Now, they're Rios.
Okay.
They're Rios. But that package is the most expensive turkey hunt in the world, and it is worth every penny. It's the world's first 5-figure turkey hunt, but it's turnkey, blue marlin fishing, mouflon rams, axis deer, pigs and goats, volcano tours, diving with man rays. You name it, it's all in one package.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything but show up with some camo and a carry-on.
Man, I was just in Kona, Hawaii, and I was going back and forth from Kona to Hilo in December. Yep. And it's like, I was like, man, I heard there's goats on this pass, but where are they?
Did you see
Next thing you know, it's like, oh, there is 10,000 goats.
Every sunset, every afternoon, they're just everywhere. You don't realize that they're like, I'll never forget my first time to the island. I could not believe how much wildlife was on that place. The goats, the pigs, all the upland birds.
The upland,
I can't wait to go upland hunting. If anybody sees this that has truly amazing upland dogs, we have a 5-star lodge in Hawaii, and I want to just go upland hunting over there. If you'll bring the dogs, me and him will open up the lodge. Let's go have fun.
Dude, I'd love to. I've been getting this pull from like it's, sometimes you feel like you're kind of being influenced in certain directions. Upland has been like happening a lot. Like my friends messaged me. He's like, "Hey, dude, I just married this gal in Idaho, and she's got thousands of acres, and we do all this upland hunting. You should come out and check it out." I'm like,
I love some upland hunting, and that's my roots, my bird boy when I was just a little kid.
Yeah, I was always a big game hunter. I mean, coming from Oregon, it's Roosevelt elk and blacktail, and you get bear tags all the time, and so I was a little reluctant to start shooting birds because I was like, this isn't going to fill the freezer, right?
Yeah, we'll have to get you down to Florida. So one of the other operations that we own is Carlton Creek Sporting Club. Mm-hmm. It's just outside Fort Pierce, between Fort Pierce and Okeechobee, Florida. Mm-hmm. But we have built a 1,800 acre, and now it's a private lease technically now. But originally we built it for memberships, but a guy come in as a member and said, I want to make this my own private playground. But we built a wing shooting mecca down there. Some of the best duck hunting Florida's ever seen. Some great upland hunting opportunities and everything. And then on top of all that, I own a company, Hunt Rec. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we buy, sell, and broker hunting recreational value, or technically hunting leases, all throughout the country nationwide. So we're in 15 states. We've got contracted just shy of 300,000 acres, and we're adding to that every day.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I like to play a lot from a business perspective, because some will say it's better to manage the land and control it than own it. And it sounds like you do have some acreage you own as well. But like, if having control of the land,
right?
Because I've looked into like cattle. Like you look at the recs on like a cattle, and it's like, it doesn't even make sense.
Doesn't make sense. And that's what we do for them. We educate these property owners on what the going value is. A lot of these property owners don't understand that their recreational value for a hunting lease probably is more per acre than what the cattle guy's paying. It's probably more per acre than what the ag guy's paying. It's definitely more than what grazing is, and more than pasturing is, and haying. And so that's the thing. And then not just that, but you can manage your property, a couple easy things that can bring value to it. And so leave some buffer areas, leave some cover, implement some food sources. There's many different things you can do to a property to improve the hunting opportunities on it. And with those improved hunting opportunities come improved value.
Yeah. I'm glad you're in Kansas. To me, like, I live in Southwest Missouri, but I've spent a lot of time hunting in Kansas. I got my Kansas deer tag last year. I will apply again this year. Kansas turkey tag, and then obviously all the waterfowl. Yeah. Like that little pocket of Southwest Missouri, it's like the Central Flyway and the Mississippi Flyway just miss it.
And that's the thing. People don't realize like what's just right over here.
Yeah.
People don't realize what's right across the border over here. I mean, it's really good right here in Southeast Kansas.
My Kansas fans and friends are probably going to be like, "Shut the fuck up!"
I know. Don't say Neosho River.
I know. Oh gosh. And here's the thing too. I've looked at property on Neosho, and this guy wanted 14,000 an acre.
Yeah.
But he sold all of the river frontage.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like, dude, this is worthless. If I can't stick a straw in that river, what are you freaking talking about?
I know. So, and that's what's so great about, I don't like to give away all my secrets, but where we're developing a lot of property in Kansas, there's not a lot of property being developed for the waterfowl, even though the concentration's here.
Yeah.
When everybody thinks of Southeast Kansas, they think of Parsons. Yeah. They think of down there, 1 county, 2 counties south of us. And the reason why that is and I don't like for reasons, they have access to water better than we have up here. Mm-hmm. And when you have that easier access, when you're doing waterfowl improvements, you have more availability. Mm-hmm. And so they've already went down there last 30, 40 years, been levying things up, been able to pump some water. And do they have great results? Yes. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. It's fantastic down there, but you're not the only one doing it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It's still really good hunting, but there's other concentrations of waterfowl in the state of Kansas that don't have near the pressure and near quality management being utilized for them. That's what we're trying to change.
Well, and it's one of those things, I think about the cost of like a Kansas resident to get their license and get their tags and stuff.
Right.
And then you have an influx of guys coming from, whenever I'm at a refuge, I see Missouri, Louisiana, Alabama, Texas, Carolina, everywhere. If you're within 12 hours, people will drive to Kansas to hunt.
That's it.
And I think it's It's like they don't understand how much money that is.
Oh, correct.
I'll spend $1,000 on Kansas tags and licenses.
Oh, correct. People don't understand. You can. There's not. And it's getting popular, and people are understanding. But you can truly go to, say, Flint Hills National Wildlife Refuge, and will there be hunting pressure? Yes. There is enough open pressure over there, an open area, that you could truly go to that. When it's down, there'll be times where it has ducks, and there'll be times where it doesn't have ducks. But more times than not, that place has ducks. That place is literally being managed pretty good. It has standing millet that is huntable and irrigated and flooded for all the waterfowl. And literally, I can't tell you, I have a lease not too far from there, and I cut through the refuge to get over to the lease. And there is some standing millet, literally standing flooded millet, that more days than not, there wasn't somebody hunting there. And the 10 days I did see people hunting there, it was usually one guy from Texas and a little bitty single little plastic boat little deal, little skiff thing. And he would always come back, and it looked like he killed a limit every time he went.
And again, because he was willing to work harder and go further.
Oh, yeah. There was many times I saw his little truck there, and there'd be an ice trail busted out through that thing. And I know it ain't easy out getting through that ice.
No, not at all. Like, there's one refuge I like where it's like there's a hole in the very back of it, and no matter which way you enter, you're 2 miles on foot.
Yeah.
And if you want to drag a sled, it's like you might be able to take 4 dozen out there.
Right.
I mean, if you got a buddy with you, even better.
Yeah.
But this last year, it didn't end up getting flooded because we were in a little bit of a dry year, so it wasn't that great. But I'm like, well, they're probably thinking it's even safer
right
now. So next year, if it does get flooded, does get planted, I'm totally just blew up my own spot. But
oh, yeah, I know. And it's crazy because you have all this opportunity. I mean, literally, like that one alone, Flint Hills National Wildlife Refuge, this has tons of duck hunting opportunity that's not getting utilized. You've got open water, you've got marshes, you got flooded timber, you have all sorts of stuff. And then, we used to think we worked hard when we were kids in Arkansas. Me and my crew of buddies and high school buddies that were local friends, we beat the brakes off them when we were kids, and we thought we worked hard. We'd walk a mile back into these walk-in holes and stuff on the Cache River that you couldn't get a boat to. And man, to think of what it is now there's 100 people at every spot willing to do that, to the point, like, you see the videos this year where they literally have guys on horseback and stuff doing racing on horseback, going through drive timber because, they said, all right, we can't race our boats. We're going to bring old Bessie out there and saddle her up.
See, that's what I love about Arkansas, though. It's like you hear about these boat races, you hear about horse races.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's Arkansas, baby. Like,
that's
don't
it.
change. Don't
That's
change.
it.
People want to regulate those boat races and stuff. I mean, people get hurt, dogs die, all sorts of stuff happens, but I'm like,
all sorts of stuff. Like, people don't realize what doesn't make it to the internet.
Yeah.
I can't stress enough. When most of that stuff goes wrong back there in those woods and those boats, we lose our cell phones to the bottom of whatever body of water we're on.
Yeah.
So it didn't make it to the internet.
Right.
Whoever was holding it, he got thrown out of a boat, and it didn't find his phone. It landed in the water, and it didn't make it. I can't stress enough, if you only knew what happened out there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it goes back to when they got rid of the guides. When they got rid of guys like me and come find me and said, you can't guide in the public timber no more. They got rid of the they got rid of the referees.
Yeah.
They got rid of the guys that said, hey, when the high school kids come in there, and they didn't know what they were doing. They just wanted to enjoy it. They saw someone parking there. They didn't know where else to go.
Yeah.
We didn't have Onyx back in the day.
Yeah.
Well,
now guys have Garmin maps out and stuff too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so nothing was a secret. And so when things became no longer a secret, but the guides knew where they were, we would say, hey, you ain't going to act like that in here. You're going to come here and hunt this. You're going to wait till I get done, and then you're going to come in here. You're not going to set up 75 yards and shoot my swing dogs. You're not going to go 300 yards and just blow at everything.
Yeah.
Because I have paying people over here, and if I need to, I'll take one of their daily rates and pay this farmhand to come over here and teach you a lesson. And y'all are going to play whose hat can stay dry. And so when they got rid of the guides, they got rid of the referees, and then that place has turned into a madhouse.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because it still has the legacy of being, the place, right?
Yeah, it still is. They still kill them. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not any easier, and there's more people than ever trying. There's more people than ever not succeeding. But I've got, my high school buddies that still to this day, that's what they live for. I got high school buddies. That's what they live for is those 60 days. They get new aluminum boats every year. They turn them into smashed tin cans. They do the whole process again. They treat these little 3-hole 2-stroke motors like they're race cars. Boring them out, they're talking about, I've seen my buddies try to put nitrous and turbos and all sorts of stuff on a 25 horse outboard. Okay. These boys are about it. Now, do they go get theirs? Oh yeah. But it's different. Like they're smart now. They don't post anything till the end of the season. They don't. But everybody's wondering where my buddies are. They still killing? They still hunting? Oh, they get theirs. They still can. But it ain't for the faint of heart.
And it's kind of like you're saying, like with the snow goose, it's like you ought to at least do it once if you can. It's like the Arkansas timber thing. It's like go down there, experience it.
You don't get it as much in the public timber as what we used to anymore. There's plenty of private operations that are managing. Now, the value of that opportunity is insane. So, don't expect to get a good quality timber hunt on a budget-friendly hunt. But if you want a good operation, pay the money and go experience something that is truly something everybody. If you've never seen a duck, put the brakes on. I mean, put the brakes on. Show you his butthole to try to backpedal through a little bitty hole about this big in the trees. And then get through the canopy enough that he slides back on his belly and pitches out through the trunks. There's nothing like it.
I mean, I love watching the videos, and I mean, anytime it comes across on my YouTube or Instagram feed, I'm just like going to sit there and watch it. I love the ones right before shooting light when it's like they're just putting on a show. It's just, and they land so hard. It's just like, it's like they hit the water like they're dead. But
there's nothing like being on the shady side of a tree, sitting there kicking some water and talking down in there. And it's just, they act different. They're so much fun. It's not like out here you're going to get them. You can have fun with them when they're doing it right. And I say it's hard to do it on the public because you got yahoos everywhere. But back in the day, you'd be able to sit there and work them. If you didn't like how they approached the hole, just be quiet for a little bit, let them drift off, and everybody, what are you doing? Give it 15 seconds of quietness. Just call them back again. Like, look, just call them back again. Don't worry about it. Just call them right back again.
So there's kind of like a lot of like debate on like over calling versus letting them work in the timber. It seems like you got to really talk to them.
It's just where you're at. Me, I like finessing them. There is a time and a place for some power calling, but when it comes to like public timber, it's almost become a necessity because you can't, don't get me wrong, you're much better off to literally be sitting there doing a little chatter as they approach that hole, doing a little bit of chatter, kicking water and hitting a whistle. All right. A little dwee. All right. You're much better doing that than you are to be over there with a cut down, just going crazy on them. But the thing is, you got some guy over there, whether you like it or not, with a cut down, going crazy on them. And that bird is curious. And sometimes curiosity does kill the cat. And so he goes up there, and the next thing you know, he don't hear you with the dweet and a little chatter no more. So now I got to pull a mic and I got to start barking at him. And now everybody's barking at him. And just what it is. But
they still want to be right in there. So
that's it.
They're going to land somewhere.
That's it. You can talk them in there. That's it. They still come in the woods.
So have you thought about, because I know some spots in Kansas that have some flooded oaks, and it's kind of that classic feel. I mean, are you kind of pursuing anything like that out here?
Most of my development program is an impoundment program. My family came from fish on farm industry. We grew flathead minnows before the EPA put the fish farm industry out of business. And
which I heard those old fish farms and the catfish and stuff too actually make really good duck holes.
So that's the thing. That was honestly what later in life was $1 million idea for me, was to quit calling them minnow ponds and start calling them planted duck impoundments. Sold the farm to Dr. Dow, built a Lone Duck Lodge around it. That originally was the King Farm. It's been now sold to Walmart money. I believe.
So Walmart is buying up some lodges and stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, there's actually a huge network out there in society in corporate money to purchase this, because duck lodges and duck properties, the way you can entertain through them makes them 100% tax deductible.
Yeah.
But now they can have a tax deduction that has equity that also is not a depreciation asset.
Oh. Yeah. I'm starting to see a lot more stuff like that now that I'm playing the tax game a lot more.
Yes.
Stuff.
Like don't get me wrong, there's plenty of lodges that are doing the day hunt deal that are profitable. There's farms that are doing that, but there's a whole nother society out there that it's all about tax advantages, corporate guests and corporate entertaining.
Sure.
and equity.
Yeah, if you're a corporation and you're like, hey, we need whatever say it's $100,000 max entertainment deductible. Where are we going to spend that $100,000?
Exactly.
Because we're not going to give it to the government.
Exactly.
On the taxes.
All right, what are you going to do? Buy a plane that depreciates in value?
Yeah.
Are you going to buy more fleets of truck that depreciate in value?
Yeah.
You want to buy a recreational property that they're not building anymore on and has only went up twice value in the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's a weird world. I have some pretty wealthy friends who kind of key me in on some stuff like that.
So that's kind of what we're doing a lot of focusing on up here in Kansas with development. We're acquiring properties. Mm-hmm. At the price point that they are currently and developing them strictly for waterfowl, strictly for recreational properties. And, we may keep some for some revenue as far as annual leases. We may do some equity memberships. We're doing quite a bit of time buying and selling. Mm-hmm. And the ROI on the ROI on a newly developed Kansas property in a zone where you can shoot 5 mallards a day mm-hmm. on a property that literally says guaranteed water and guaranteed mallards or your money back, ROI is pretty good. The ROI is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing that I feel about it. It's like people are going to be upset that it's like, look, if you're a public land guy who maybe doesn't smash every day, you're going to be upset at private land guys just by the sheer fact that like, you don't get to kill as many, right? I
mean, I understand that. People don't realize, they think that there's something secret to it. They think that, it's a food source, or, it's this, or, one of the biggest management key to success is the key factor or a technique that you can implement on any property that has the best result is a posted sign. And that's the thing. Everybody wants a better hunting opportunity, and a lot of people don't mind other people losing hunting opportunities. Yeah. But as soon as it becomes losing their hunting opportunity, it's a problem.
I know.
And that's the thing with the public is you're never going to get the public, everybody has it together, going to go, okay, we could have better hunting on our opportunities, but it means we can't go trample on it 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, any way we see fit, big mud motors, turtle boxes.
Yeah.
People don't understand just limiting access is one of the best management practices you can.
Which, I mean, obviously it makes sense. We're just talking about pressure,
right?
Ultimately. Right. I was thinking about, like, not to stay on Arkansas too long, but how, North Dakota recently changed their regs up where you can only hunt non-residents. Yeah, you only hunt a total of 14 days, and you have to split that 1 week in one zone, another week in another zone. Do you think Arkansas will ever do anything like that?
So we do it on the public property. So on the state-run managed properties, they're currently regulating, and they've been changing it so much in the last probably 10 or 15 years. I could be behind a year on what it is now, but they've regulated to like you're allowed to purchase a 5-day window or something, but you're not only allowed X amount of 5-day windows. You can't have it the entire season or something.
So as a non-resident, you couldn't spend 60 days.
No. And then there's some properties you can. There's some managed properties you can't. Mm-hmm. To be a public land, I'm a public land hunter all across the country. So I'm a 49er doing with the turkeys. I'm 2 birds away from being done. I've hunted all over this country publicly.
What do you got left?
I've got North Dakota and Nevada.
Oh, those aren't impossible to get.
Well, Nevada is. I don't.
Yeah, because everything's a random draw.
2 things there. I've never once paid $1 for access.
Okay.
All right, now I have traded a $5,000 Kansas whitetail for an eastern turkey in somebody's grandma's backyard, but I have never just exchanged money for access to a bird, and I've never stayed in a hotel or anything. I've always either slept in the truck or done it out of a tent, which is honestly not the smartest idea if you're ever gonna do it, but it has been fun as all get out doing it that way. And with Nevada being Nevada, the way it works on their draw for the non-residents, I'm looking at probably on average a 40-year draw to get a tag on that versus. And then on top of that, I think there's about 12 landowner tags that get available. One guy has acquired all the ranches that have those tags.
He wants $20,000 for them or something.
He wants $20,000, like literally $20,000. So I'm not paying $20,000 for an overgrown chicken.
It is kind of funny how the Kansas whitetail access thing is like a good trading token.
Right.
I traded it for Wyoming access last year.
Yes,
and
I have traded
great.
Kansas access for more things than you could ever imagine. People want to kill big deer, and I've been able to offer that since I was a 19-year-old kid right here in the land of the giants. It
is great. You know, like I was just talking to your buddy about Iowa, and they make it so difficult for a non-resident to get an Iowa tag. If you want to kill a Kansas whitetail with your bow, it can be done in a couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, my tenants, honestly, my tenants that are serious that are applying every single year up here, I've got one core area that unit's probably 3 out of every 4 years.
Yeah.
And then I've got another core unit that they say it's 4 out of every 5 years. I've been lucky. I've been, I think, like 7 for 7. And I don't apply anymore, but I've never not received a tag applying since 2009, back when I was deer hunting up here. And yeah, it's not. Now I know some of the more sought after units that are just
especially west where the mule deer.
Well, you get all the outfitters, and those 2 units I talk about. The private sector has acquired enough of the property to squeeze out the outfitters, and nothing wrong with outfitters, but the way it works is, say an outfitter acquires, hypothetically, has 1,000 acres. He's going to sell 50 people on the idea to apply for a tag, and if you acquire a tag, I can hunt 10 guys on that. Well, when we do it the private sector route, you get 1,000 acres, you're gonna have like 3 guys apply.
Right.
So the more acres can get in the private sector in a what we call a neighborhood, but in a unit, you have less people applying because there's less outfitters, and then you have a higher probability of receiving a tag. So that's what we.
It's an interesting model. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So now with that, the private sector just has to pay more, which is hard sometimes. It's actually not that hard. They shoot themselves in the foot. We just have to pay a premium, which is fine. These guys don't mind paying a premium. They have the place all to themselves. Now, for an outfitter, what it does is it's honestly the death to these outfitters, because now we drive the value up of the property because it is there. We don't have to try to get one over on the landowner. We just pay them what it's worth. Now, for the cost of access, once we drive the value up in the area, the cost to access the property for a landowner is so high that he can't recoup the cost. He can't turn a profit unless he overhunts the property. And then as soon as you overhunt the property, you're turning out bad hunts with a bad success rate, and you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah. It is, I've only started managing a little bit of property. I got 80 over there. And it's a great, I think I told you about this piece before. It's a great piece because it's the only ag in that whole sector.
Right.
So a lot of hay. And
you got all the desirability.
But predators discovered that.
That's the thing. That's one people don't realize. Now, on all our properties, we actually keep access rights to be able to manage it for predators if we need to. But when we manage these properties to be great for wildlife, it's not only we're building it honestly to be great for wildlife so that we have good hunting opportunities. Well, guess what? You're building not just yourself good hunting opportunities. You're building great hunting opportunities for the predators. And if you don't do something, believe it or not, I've literally seen the influx of predators come in and absolutely destroy all the success that you had with your management.
That's one of the things that I've been a big advocate of lately is more predator control. I've been thermal hunting with buddies and trapping more. And, this is kind of a tip for guys out there who want more access. If you pick up some traps and learn how to get rid of some coyotes or some coons or some possums, a lot of guys will let you hunt the deer on their place if you get rid of some of that stuff. So
I can't stress that enough. This year, I think we bought the company like 260 of those the Duke dog proof traps.
Yep.
They are so easy to run. They are so effective.
Little cat food in there.
Little cat food in there with a little vanilla or some cherry Kool-Aid or something. Easy to set. Put you a name tag on it. Keep that thing staked in there forever. Every time you walk back, it puts some food in there. Go check it, whatever your state requires you to. When you don't have the time, just go unflip the deal. It doesn't rust. It stays there all the time. Put a couple around your corn piles, and heck, maybe one day we can get our turkey populations back to what they need to be.
I know it's tough because the first year I was on that property, it was relatively abundant with turkeys, and then I was deer hunting it later that year, and I was seeing coons out the wazoo, and I was like, dude. And then next year, guess what's not there?
Right, turkeys. And everybody says, well, I want a farm that I can put some corn on the ground. I want a farm I can bait. I like running trail cameras. And don't get me wrong, I love cell cameras more than anybody. I promise you, come August, September, ask my old lady. Come sunset, don't bug me. Don't bug me for about 3 hours. I got a couple shooters I'm waiting to come in. I got a date with. And that's every day. I'm the worst about it. I run hundreds of cellular cameras. I am the worst about it.
Yeah.
I get access to all my tenant cell cameras. We got 300,000 acres out with corn piles all over this daggum stuff. But the thing is, if you're going to be pouring corn on the ground, as large of a society that the hunter is, all right, you're just supplementing those varmints. And if you can't supplement, you can't do anything. It doesn't matter what animal you do. You pick any animal in the animal kingdom. You can't supplement them that much and not expect for them to explode.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. You get rid of the fur market with the trappers. There's a lot of different variables that come into play, but we got to do something with these varmints so we'll be able to have the opportunities that we enjoy, because honestly, there's just not as many. Don't get me wrong. I was a coon hunter big time. Arkansas state champion when I was young.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I love coon hunting as more than anybody, but there's more people out there that enjoy the opportunities that come from ground nesting birds, like your upland birds and your turkeys.
Yeah.
And I love them as well. And so coon hunters, we either got to step it up, or turkey and upland hunters, we got to do a better part for the coon hunter and do something.
Well, that's what I love about kind of this part of the country, whether it's Southwest Missouri or Southeast Kansas and even Arkansas, is it's like I'll still run into guys who are raising coon dogs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Get out there. And I got invites to go do it. And before I got the puppy, I was about ready to go do it. But it's definitely one of those things. And for me, it's guys will say all the time about, the populations are this, the populations are that, especially regarding ducks, right? It seems like everybody and their mom's got some opinion about the population.
That's no lie.
And I'm like, look, when's the last time you killed a coyote, a coon, or a possum? If you haven't, shut the fuck up.
Honestly.
Put your money where your mouth is. And
especially when it comes like the ducks. Everybody, unless you were living under a rock, you saw everybody flooded corn. Get rid of this. You're not allowed. Everybody wants to tell people what they can and can't do on somebody else's private property, and it's so many people this year chimed in saying, "Hey, tell that landowner he can't do this. He can't do something which is giving to the resource so that I can take more of it."
Yeah.
And it's just like, do you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Does that make that make sense? Especially when we can all agree, when everybody will agree that the ducks, as a whole, the population's on decline.
And I think, there's a lot of stuff to that. I think drought conditions are probably primarily to blame.
Right.
The prairie pothole region and whatnot.
Yeah, most definitely. In my opinion, now there's many factors that go into this, but one of the largest factors is the duck population. And it doesn't matter when you're talking about biomass as a whole, you have to figure out how to reproduce more.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. No management practice helps you. It doesn't matter how good you can give it cover, you can feed it, if you can't get them to reproduce more.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you watched my last podcast, but I kind of addressed, or I think it was just a video, I addressed, Senator Kennedy out of Louisiana's letter that was bitching about the flooding corn.
Did you? Okay, I don't think anybody really went in the depths in it. Did you see where they're talking about, we don't need to be shooting ducks in like May or something? It's like, hey, I don't think anybody's trying to shoot ducks in May, Senator Kennedy.
And I've thought at times before, I was like, oh man, wouldn't it be so cool if we had some spring dates? But now I'm like, no, not at all. Like, let the ducks rest. Let them fly back over Missouri.
That's the whole thing. He brought it, and I understand he brought up a certain deal that has been changed or talked about years in the past that had talked about that. But I think it kind of proved the point that he either truly doesn't give two mess. He's just worried about making sure he makes some constituents happy.
So that's kind of what I was thinking is I was like, okay, in Louisiana, who does he know? Who is he hunting with? Is he hunting with the Duck Dynasty guys? Because they seem like they would bitch about it and get somebody. I mean, if anybody could get the senator of Louisiana to write a letter to the interior, who else but those guys, right?
Right. But at the same time, I'm not going to drop names, but I personally know somebody who he makes a living buying and selling hospitals.
It's good money.
All right. And we're not talking about working for him, not a doctor in one. He buys and sells them.
Yeah.
He has thousands of doctors that work under him.
Okay.
If you ever saw Donald Trump Jr. on a plane, a private jet going hunting somewhere, it's this guy's jet. Gotcha.
Right? Okay.
I've talked with him about it. Actually, I help him manage some of his duck properties in Louisiana. Which that's the thing. That's another thing I want to add. I help manage properties in Arkansas and Louisiana that have great success.
Right.
They're still shooting the piss out of ducks. So don't say they ain't killing them, because I know they are. With the effort, that's different efforts, different things got to change.
Yeah.
But that gentleman who owns that plane, does know Senator Kennedy, and I spoke with him about his farm, about what we are going to plan on it as far as a crop next year. And I said, before I go asking you this, are we going to be able to have unharvested crops and hunt them? He said, yeah, but you ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think that was going to change. But so then there was that follow-up letter from Senator Boozman from Arkansas, which I thought was, this is what that first letter should have been.
Exactly.
It was like, hey, our refuges are being understaffed and undermanaged. And, you know, as much as this good as this administration is doing on some things, there's other things. It's like the things you care about are the most important things, right?
Well, the best part about it was, and a lot of people don't know this, I'm not sure if she'd be happy I said this, but everybody knows Sarah Huckabee is our governor in Arkansas. Her father, Mike Huckabee, was a very avid duck hunter. Probably one of the most liked governors we've ever had. Sarah's no different. She's an avid duck hunter. But literally, like the week before Senator Kennedy put his letter out, she had publicly posted that she is having a banquet duck hunt, that you can purchase a seat to be in a duck blind with her at Stan Jones Mallard Lodge, all right, who used to be our commissioner of our game and fish.
Yeah.
And what was it? I believe it was $25,000 or $50,000 per seat. And in the flyer was like, we get to hunt over unharvested crops. Okay. Well, then Senator Kennedy letter comes out.
Yeah.
And everybody was asking her, like, we want a response from this. That was on that was on Senator Kennedy's side from Arkansas. And you know what her response was? A picture of big old limits in this field going, thanks for everybody paying $50,000 a seat to come duck hunt unharvested crops with me. And it's like, well, we know how she feels.
Yeah. Well, and it's duck food.
That's it. You can't, there's nothing wrong with it. It is asinine to say that you are worried about the future of duck and duck hunting. If you know, without a shadow of a doubt, which we have the data to prove this, don't take it from my word, that duck numbers are on a decline. And you think in any way, shape, or form, it is a good idea to take away habitat from an animal that is on a decline.
Not at all.
It's never worked. You find me one animal in the animal kingdom that worked for. That's insane.
And it's what I felt about Senator Kennedy's letter is it didn't seem as if though he was necessarily talking to his biologist. I'm like, if anybody has good access to people who knows wetland management and wildlife management better than anybody, it's a sitting senator. And it just didn't feel as if though that was a strongly educated kind of piece that came out. Now, I do think that we might be getting some ground here with the second letter.
Right.
And trying to put more effort into the refuges.
And honestly, I'd like to thank Senator Kennedy for doing it. It allowed me to have conversations this year publicly that I never was able to have. And honestly, what has happened from those conversations has changed my life. So I manage waterfowl properties. I've been working with unharvested crops for nearly 20 years. I've been blessed to manage a doctor's property who has a blank checkbook, and it will let you write any check you want as long as you know why. Not what we're doing, why we were doing it. And so taught me to always ask questions and figure out why. And so I've been very blessed with him to work with a couple colleges on that original property. We did a willow tree program for a nursery for a willow tree called Silex negra that Mississippi State University was trying to remove ethanol from. So we got to work with them. We've worked with some different colleges on different studies. He also owns Wildlife Specialty Seeds, and so he's got tons of doctors that work for him.
And they sell like game corn.
Exactly. They're known and famous for the famous Chippewa millet, and they're famous for the golden millet. You see the Facebook ads for the duck hunters. So we've got to work through anything, and with those studies, my whole program, so like on a full-blown build, if we have a property that's built for an entire duck season, it's 24 impoundments. Every single one gets hunted one day. Yeah. One day. So this is a management program to the nth degree. We flood, say there's 10 weeks of duck season. We have 10 weekends. Saturday and Sundays, the property's going to get hunted. Not going to get hunted 5 days a week. On 2 Sundays before duck season, we flood 2 fields or impoundments. We hunt one on Saturday, one on Sunday. That Sunday night, we flood 2 more. Let it sit all week. Unharvested crops, commercially grown. Let them sit. We call it let them get fat and happy. I'll be honest. Let them get fat and happy. But it's just not having a place they can rest. Yeah. All right. They get in there. You go go in there on Saturday, shoot one, go in there on Sunday and shoot two. I can tell you, if you're not doing equity, if you're going to try to charge people what the market allows you to charge us to day hunt a property like that, there's no profit.
Yeah.
There's profit in the equity in it. All right? So that's why these are done. People think you charge $1,000 a day. It's not. It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, you see the $1,000. Oh, I mean, $1,000 would be a cheap timber hunt, really.
Right.
But
Now, yeah, for the impoundment opportunities. And not just that, but timber allows you to put more pressure than 2 days a week, which these properties allow you to. Or
Totally.
If you put more than, if you hunt these properties that are managed to this intense scale with an unharvested crop, you know what happens on Monday if you want to go hunt 3 days? It's a ghost town.
yeah.
There ain't nothing
So you're
there.
essentially kind of creating little, like some, I know some lodges and
Food
companies.
troughs. I'll be flat out and be honest with you.
And also kind of like little micro resting areas for them.
Exactly.
As opposed to like, we always hunt this and they rest over there and we know we can kind of essentially traffic them back over here.
Correct. We take a piece of property, minimum of 40 acres, and put a minimum of 20 impoundments on it. And we try to keep our impoundments about 2 acres in size because you don't want them too big. You're going to get the birds. And if the birds are too scattered, it does you no good to have all the birds in the world if you can't successfully harvest them. And that's what we learned from like zero grade rice fields in Arkansas. 40 acres, zero grade. You have pit in the middle of it, blind on the bank. The sucker's still going to go land way over there. So it does you no good in the world. We had to have something small.
It's a really interesting sort of management plan. Where'd you kind of come up with that?
Trying to figure out how to sell Dr. Dow more of my old family menopawns, and they were small, broken up impoundments. We just had to plant it inside and figure out how to do it correctly to where it offered the best duck hunting opportunity outside of the timber.
Oh, so you took the fish model.
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah. I have to show you like that farm over there on the wall. I've got that grill green photo. You'll see the impoundment of what a full blown is. That's Carlton Creek. That's and that farm is actually the first farm in the management program. It was the 7th farm ever put in the management program that we built from actually I built that one. That was the first one I built on my own, and it was the first one built from the ground up because every other farm was an old menopause, so it already had the levees. That was just revamping them. That one I took flat bare ground and turned it into 24 duck impoundments.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what you're doing. You're taking that same kind of idea and now you're doing it in Kansas.
Exactly. And so the whole program about having impoundments that you can give fresh food every week, fresh food, fresh fruit, fresh food, fresh food, it's all based around the science and the data that we have around energy input versus energy output. Now I work with millet. Now I manage tenants farms all over the country. Some of them would pay a little bit more to have corn because of what they set up. Because of that, I have to manage some corn. I have to plant and flood some corn. Now, I don't hunt it. I don't guide on it, but I get to know exactly what the harvest report's on. I'm the one who plants it. I got to manage it. I know what the input costs on, and I know what the results are. And honestly, I've been doing this for a long time. The whole Synergy thing has changed my life on the standpoint that we have done studies on energy input and energy output. You factor in that I grow my crop thicker than probably any one man alive does.
Like more seed per
square foot.
Okay.
Like most millets is caused to be planted at somewhere between 12 and 16 pounds per acre. This year, my Kansas crop was planted at 32 pounds per acre.
You doubled it.
And I was able to get it completely successful, mature, and we do some other secret little things to it. But at the same time, on top of that, I am, as far as I know, and I could be wrong, but as far as I know, I'm the first person to ever make and know how to make millet bifurcate, which is something I don't tell many people, more or less on a podcast.
Yeah.
But bifurcating is the process. You ever grown a tomato plant?
Of course, yeah.
Top of your tomato plant, you split out and grows more tomatoes. That's bifurcation. And
Well, I was in the cannabis industry, so topping
LST,
is
LST.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. When I learned how to do LST, there's many different LSTs. There is a form of LST that I learned from a gentleman in the cannabis industry that I have figured out how to implement to my millet during a certain point of the vegetative cycle that I can make millet bifurcate.
Incredible.
And as far as I know, I'm the only person that's
I've never even. I mean, it's so.
I have one root source.
Yeah.
2 heads.
Yeah. I mean, it's so obvious when you think about it, but it's one of those things. If you just didn't have the right conversation with the right people, you wouldn't have thought about it.
Until I started managing some guy's land in Oklahoma.
Yeah. I love that. That is so,
yeah.
That's cool. I love to see, like, that's kind of a lot of what I do is I take ideas from one industry, try and apply it to something else.
Same.
Because there's so much information out there and breakthroughs that maybe it was a breakthrough in just some weird, I don't know. And then applying it to something that has more application to what you're trying to do.
Now, before we go, and we can go crazy on this, but the whole Senator Kennedy changed my life. I want to ask you, what do you know about deer enzymes on their stomachs around the acorn drop?
Yeah.
How it affects them. They have to adapt to that every year.
Right. And so
so they don't come to your corn pile anymore.
And some people will say that corn could actually kill deer later in the season, allegedly. I don't believe that, but yes, there seems to be their stomach enzymes and everything prefer a certain type of crop at different times of the season.
So my program around the ducks. We're going to get back to the ducks real quick. My program around the ducks and the way I bifurcate my millet is all to energy input versus output. I feel like I have proven with enough data to myself that a duck is much more designed to fly and expends less energy flying than it ever does waddling on the ground. And so because of that, when it does waddle, it's going to waddle in the spot it has to take the less steps and will fly much farther to do that. And that's why getting as much meal as I can in my pond and figuring out how to bifurcate and all that has given us, honestly, the desirability to have the success that we have with it. Now, some things happen. I've never done my millet near corn. I've done my millet in places and I've done corn in places, and I've had good results in both, but my millet's always king. But for the first time ever, I had the opportunity I take that back. In Arkansas, I did corn and millet on the same property, and without a doubt, they loved the millet. They didn't even touch the damn corn. We did corn, dwarf corn. We did a bunch of different stuff. It sucked. But here in Kansas, something changed this year, and I have the opportunity to manage a professor's farm for Texas Tech University, as well as a professor's farm for Manhattan up there at Kansas State University, and they're partners together on a piece of property that I have the opportunity to manage. And so because of that, I have the opportunity to get help from them to do research with the college and some of the students. Yeah, and so we were. How do I say this without giving it away? What it come down to is I was doing a study to just prove that this is the first time we had ever brought the program to Kansas. We've done it in Arkansas. We've done it in Louisiana. We've done it in Florida. We bought a farm last year and developed it and planted the crops, and we wanted to see if it worked. So once the ducks got here, I did a survey to make sure that the same survey we know to be true down in the South would work here, that it's all about energy input versus energy output. And I got some interesting results.
Different than Arkansas.
Different than what I got in the South.
Okay.
And then I went ahead and we flooded my millet crop. We flooded another farm. We flooded a couple different food sources. I have some bean fields, standing beans. I've got some standing corn that I manage as well. I have my personal millet crops and flooded them. And we all had fantastic hunting. And I had the best. My millet was better than anybody's hunting. Better. I mean, it was perfection. That's the best way to explain it. Perfection. I could have taken as many guns as I want out there and shot as many mallards as I wanted to. And when we started with how the program works, we're adding food. I got a different result than what I see everywhere else in the country. And boy, the cornholers are going to love hearing this one. But my property that I manage for not the entire season, but for about a 10-day period, you couldn't get rid of the ducks.
Really?
Couldn't get rid of
them. So even like while hunting them, they kept coming on back.
Couldn't get rid of them for a brief period.
Yeah.
And then right after that brief period, for about a 10-day window, the ducks had no problem coming back into my millet and finding fresh food, and they all go right back on their cycle. Like nothing ever happened. But prior to that 10-day window, something took place up here, Mother Nature and our climate. We had a change in climate and some things happened. I can't give everything away because I don't even know it all.
No, please don't.
Yeah. But through that, these properties that happened on, that I started to see these results on, were the professor's property. And so I talked with the professor about it, and he's been bugging me that I manage. He allows me to do whatever I want to his farms. I mean, we put 6 figures a year just in food plots on his properties. Yeah. We got to talking. He's always bugged me. Cole, you need to get a PhD. You need to get a PhD.
Yeah, so is this kind of...
And that's how it is. So what I was seeing wasn't lining up with the whole what the hunter in what all the hunters were complaining about this year. You know, you saw the argument, flooded corn.
Yeah.
Well, I saw something. I'm not going to say what I saw. I did see something, but I didn't see what they're, screaming from the rooftops.
Interesting.
And so because of that and the fact that it happened on a professor's farm, I said, hey, I got to figure this out. Not just that. I want to know. Everybody's talking crap, and I want to be the one who gets to talk the crap because I have the answers. And so he said, well, we could possibly get the college involved in helping you with the study. And we kind of hemmed it around a little bit. And the next thing you know, Senator Kenney writes his letter. And literally, I get a college calling me going, what do you need? How many college students do you need? How much funding do you need? How many acres do you need? You don't have water? You need permits for your water? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
You need, and they said, what do you need? We want to answer this question. We want to be the ones to answer this question.
So this letter was affected on the university level.
No, it just got them. It got them talking about what they heard I was doing already, and they said, okay, what you're doing is important.
So you don't have to give away all the sauce, but so your discovery is not congruent with Kennedy's argument. Like you think that you have different information that.
And boy, the cornholers are going to love this. They're going to clip just the first part of this, just so y'all know. But yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I believe possibly for a short window due to Mother Nature. Nothing we can control.
Yeah.
But so what it boils down to is when I saw this, I said, oh, we got to do this. So the college came to me and said, all right, we're going to help you design a study. So we did a study. I got all the millet I could, and I got all, well, I didn't say exactly what we did with the study, but it definitely would prove that if there's not something to the corn, right? If there's seriously nothing there, then and my data with energy input is right, then practically they would go, say hypothetically, you put 150 pounds of millet over here, and you put 3 pieces of kernels of corn over here, and you spread 10 feet out between them. Energy input versus energy output, say they're going to eat that. All right. And not just that, but I manage properties all over the country. We implemented this research on properties all over throughout the country.
Yeah.
And in places that hadn't experienced a natural climate thing that had taken place, it was all about energy input versus energy output.
Okay.
For birds who had experienced this, depending on where they lived in a latitude line, had experienced it by that point in time of the year, they showed a different result. Okay? But then, after a small time span, not a 60-day time span, but a couple days, couple weeks at tops, we see that those birds no longer share that same result anymore. They go back to energy input versus energy output. And if you know anything about the deer and how a stomach works when acorns drop, and how there's an adaptation that takes place every year with the enzymes, I have a theory. And through that theory, I have been nominated to get a PhD in science and get to work with a couple colleges this year to prove this theory to end up to be my paper that I work on for my PhD.
That's incredible.
I know.
That is so cool.
I know. So to literally leave high school, last grade I ever graduated was the 9th grade, so I could go chase ducks.
Yeah.
To end up that passion of ducks end up possibly awarding me a PhD or even being nominated for an honorary one.
Well, and I think there's a lot of power in that, right? Because it's persistence and passion kind of converging there. I talk a lot. It's like it's hard to stay focused on one singular thing sometimes. Yeah. And you've been doing that for, almost 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say staying focused on only that. I wear many hats. But this is the one thing that it doesn't matter the money involved in it. It doesn't matter about the time and the work and the effort and the destroyed relationships. I'm talking about this duck hunting and goose hunting. I got ex-wives, I've got ex-friends, I've got ex-lodge owners, you name it. I promise you, it wasn't for no spoonbill.
Yeah.
I promise you, it's 2 things. It's giant tornadoes of white geese trying to sit on your face and green-headed mallards.
You know what's the funny thing about the spoonbill? I think it actually is one of my favorite waterfowl birds. It's just the coolest looking bird.
It is a good one. You'd love a mount I've got in Arkansas. I have a mount in Arkansas where it's a wooden platform on the bottom with like a scenic rice field mud scene, and then a lacrosse boot. And under the lacrosse boot is like a cartoonic looking mount of like the eyes and the tongue are being bulged out. It looks like you're stomping it in the mud. But yeah, no, that one was a good one for the old rice field guides from back in the day. Know what that's about.
Yeah, no, I believe it. That's awesome, dude. That's incredible though. Congratulations on this study. I mean, I'm really excited to read the paper when it's ready.
I can't be more excited. Ended up, they gave us the funding to go purchase any farm I wanted. They gave us over $1 million in funding to go buy and purchase any farm I want to be. Practically, we're going to develop for waterfowl, and then it'll not only be utilized for recreational, the waterfowl on it, but will be nothing but practically all these questions that people want to know.
Yeah,
these will be the farms that they get the data and the research done on.
See, and again, it comes back to, like I said, putting your money where your mouth is. Right? It's like your boots on the ground, doing it,
right,
and trying to make an effort, and so, you know how it is sometimes, even if it was. Maybe not this particular university, but some of them, it's like there's so much red tape and so much bureaucracy that, or if it's an organization, I'm not going to call out any organizations, but
there's plenty of them. We can all think
their
of
administration costs far succeed the work that they're actually doing.
Exactly. And that's the thing. A lot of people in the industry, like a lot of people on the other side of that corn table, on the corn talk, at that table, they say, you're only doing it because you're the midday market hunter or something. People don't understand conservation costs money.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what y'all expect. Conservation costs money, and somebody's got to do it. Because if I'll flat out tell you, as a public land hunter, if we're gonna leave it up to the public land hunters to take care of things for the next generation, that ain't gonna happen.
Not even a chance.
So, and then when you factor it in, honestly, what's being taught at these universities, I've worked alongside with biologists far and wide with PhDs. I mean, every time I get a big ranch, I say we need to do this. Say, we have a guy that actually has a PhD that says the opposite. They're taught diversity. Private land managers, the best way to describe it is the ones who are seeing, in my opinion, the best results are working on a program that I would call maximization. If you could learn how to merge the two, which is I work with properties every day trying to figure out how to do that, and being taught and being implemented across the landscape on a large scale, man, we could have a lot more hunting opportunities that were a heck of a lot more quality than what they are now. And honestly, if that was the case, it's economics, it's supply and demand. People are talking about how the prices are going through the roof and everything. That's what I do for a living. I see it every day. I'm might as well be part of Wall Street on it. I have set the market some days,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if there was more quality opportunities, they'd be cheaper.
Yeah, and it is again, it's one of those kind of dual-edged swords, right? Because as like a guy from South Arkansas, it's like a lot of those people down there don't have money to smack ducks. Right. You could never pay $5,000 to go get in a timber, so you got to go.
We were very blessed to have. I was very blessed to grow up at the time I did in Arkansas to have quality hunting opportunities on our public properties. And unfortunately, that day and age is come and gone. I don't think it's ever coming back. The state. Now, I know there's a lot of states that are mismanaging their properties, but the state of Arkansas is hands down, in my opinion, the worst. It started when, allegedly, let me say that,
sure. Okay.
But allegedly started with when we got a commissioner who wanted to set, we had a commissioner who owns one of the most expensive lodges to hunt with that you can have hunt flooded green timber. Yeah. And then as the commissioner of Arkansas said, the year allegedly that he jacked his prices up is the year that they're not going to flood public land timber no more. Okay, allegedly someone told me that that's a conflict of interest.
I think by definition, yeah.
And then it's been honestly, with all due respect, it's been a shit show ever since. Arkansas could not manage property to save their life. They have destroyed it. If you believe in imprinting of waterfowl, they have ruined hundreds of years of hard work by Mother Nature.
Yeah.
And not just that, but the managers that came before them.
So what do you think Arkansas could do to fix that?
Water. We got to get water. No water, no ducks. It's not a dry cornfield. Plain and simple. But we have hardwood, river bottom forest. We have wetlands. And they need to be wet. They say that it's because of trees. Well, that's that's good and dandy. All right. There's still a way to get maximization. You're that's the whole federal government, state government, diversity plan. Let's keep these things of trees. I'm come from maximization. Let's keep the trees alive and have great duck hunting.
Yeah.
All right. How much money does this place generate with non-resident tax? All right. If not, jack the price up. It's economics. Somebody get Game and Fish and economics person that comes in there with a master's in that and teach them how to jack up the prices for a couple years so that we can build some bigger water control structures. We can build some relifts and some pumps big enough to not only put the water on so that we can have hunting opportunities that get people to come to the state to pay the money that's going to supply and fund all this work. And then at the same time have a resource that's or spend the funding to get that water off.
Yeah.
It's people think that it's a one-way street and it's, you can put it on fast, but you can't get it off fast. No. It's just money. You can build water control structure. I promise you, if Moses can split the Red Sea, we can dry up the Arkansas timber to keep it alive and still be able to flood it every year.
Yeah. And I think you're absolutely right on that because, we've seen increasing so this is, I have some confliction here, right? Because increasing the cost of hunters in the field will ultimately remove hunters from the field. And the worst case scenario, remove hunters from the sport entirely. Yeah. Hunter numbers have always been on decline, and there is a sweet spot in there where there's enough hunters to sustain the economic footprint that it needs.
Correct.
But not just overwhelm the resource. But you've seen in Missouri, they've reduced their turkey tags to 1 and increased the price.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? Is Nebraska turkey tags sold out immediately.
Immediately. I used to guide in Nebraska. I remember Nebraska was 3 tags over the counter, non-resident, and boy, I could sell the snot out of it.
Yeah.
And to think of it being a draw or first come, first serve, whatever, sells out immediately like that, 1 bird a person. These states the states never saw it coming.
Yeah.
And nobody knew what the internet was going to do to us.
Yeah.
But plain and simple, was there people before the internet that was going out and hunting in Nebraska? Yeah. But was there everybody viewing it that went out there and hunted like they did now? And so that's the thing. They couldn't keep up with the times. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in with. When you're running as a business, which that's what they are, they're not a branch of our government.
No.
They get to do whatever the heck they want and charge people for it. And then they think they can do it not be held accountable for their actions half the time.
They're still representatives of the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so with that, it's economics. If you don't keep up with your industry, it will leave you in the dust.
Yeah.
And they didn't figure that out soon enough, and now they're going to be doing the pickup game. And when it comes to wildlife management, trying to fix a problem, being behind versus being ahead of it and being proactive, man, it takes so much longer.
Well, they say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? And for me, it's nothing I love more than traveling and hunting and documenting those things, right? Yeah. So I'm I know I'm the problem, but I like to believe that my conservation work significantly outweighs my impact, right? And a lot of awareness. It was funny, people didn't even know. I'll talk to people oh yeah, man, I've been hunting the Mark Twain National Forest. You can hunt the National Forest? I'm yeah. It's what else are you going to do in there?
Yeah. National Forest was good. There's some walk-in places I used to hunt out around Springfield outside there that used to be really good to me too.
Yeah. And there's a lot, and Missouri's not perfect. And I think it's primarily due to the fact that it is such an older state. It got so privatized and, I'd like to eventually talk to somebody who's well in the know in the MDC because they'll tell you that, in Missouri, they have this special little tax. It's 1/10 of a cent that goes to conservation.
Right.
It's created
same in Arkansas, 1/8 cents tax.
Okay, right. It's created a tremendous surplus, people will say. And I'm well, go buy some more freaking public land or go do this, go do that. And
I used to honestly have that same opinion, but now that I do so much in management, having experience in it, I honestly don't as far as Arkansas goes. Missouri may be a little different, but as Arkansas goes, I don't want them that 1/8 cents tax we have in Arkansas. Do not spend $1 to go acquire more property, please. Please go manage the hundreds of thousands of amazing acres that we have that are under mismanagement currently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's probably really where the ticket is. And that was kind of like I was saying about Boozman's letter. It was saying we need more resources and more management on our refuges. Right. And that's nationally. If you look up and down the flyway, there's a trillion different refuges where ducks can sit and have safe places to, and some of them you can hunt, some of them you can't. But, a lot of people will say that, with the budget cuts that happened this year, those places just they're not getting flooded, or they're not getting the plantings that they need. So I looked into it and I was like, well, there was people who wanted to volunteer.
Right.
If you want to volunteer, you got to go take some special class up in like South Dakota or something like that. It's only available one time in the year. And then it's like, you couldn't even if you were like, man, I can run a tractor better than anybody. Right. You don't got the special permit that you can only do for this time.
Mismanagement. It's this key thing. It's practically, it's just, they're mismanaging the whole thing. The logistics around it, it's just painful to watch, because not only are they mismanaging, stuff that gives you and I opportunities, that's some of the best properties in the country.
Oh, that's why it was designated as a refuge. Yeah,
exactly. And to see it done with that, when you got private land managers like myself taking dry barren cattle ground and turn it into amazing duck hunt. Imagine what I could do with a beautiful,
totally. Yeah. It is unfortunate, and I get it though. It's for a reason, right? It's like if you had just anybody going into these refuges, you could do a lot of damage accidentally.
Yes, you definitely could. But at the same time, I think we're at least 15 years in. At one point in time, the private land manager was managing with the wrong outlook, to the point that the federal government practically had to come step in. QDMA, federal refuges, all sorts of different things. The table has turned. The value of recreational hunting value has gotten so good. We have had to figure out, on the private sector, we've had to figure out how to get it right. Yeah. And I believe it's probably been 15 years now. We have proven that as private land managers, we are blowing the public land managers out of the water. Yeah.
And it makes sense, right? Like, I'll talk to a guy who's a manager at the refuge, and I'd guess his salary would be maybe $60,000 a year. Yeah. A good private lodge can make that.
You better love what you do, for that. And if that's saying, if you get some guy in there that's not sure where he's going to go in life, and he doesn't know if he loves that, for that kind of money, you're going to get him to go out there and, put the work and effort in that gives you and I the opportunities that you and I want? No.
Something you're passionate about, you could definitely do it for $50,000, $60,000. But if if you're a private lodge owner and you're making, what do you think like the best ones are making? $1 million a year over?
I mean, you'd be surprised. Gross revenue, there's income. Yeah. But when it comes to squeezing everything out in the juice at the end of the year, it's not near the margins what people think. You're better off, S&P 500 or investing in Marlboro than you are this. But at the same time, there are some operations out there that you would be surprised the kind of value and the money that they generate doing this.
Yeah, but it's enough to really care about the land and put to get you out of bed to go do the work that needs to be done.
That's it. People don't understand. Conservation isn't free.
Yeah.
A lot of people, that's like myself. I didn't want to be a guide. I wanted to hunt every single day. Yeah. And I couldn't afford to. Yeah. How do I go hunting every single day? Oh, wait, there's a guy that gets paid to go hunting? All right, sign me up.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like this kind of, I see how much guiding you're doing, putting your fiance and everybody else and the management stuff. Are you still finding enough time for you to actually pull the trigger?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do. I like to think that animals are too expensive to me to hunt sometimes, but I love turkey hunting. I travel all over the country. Last year I started in Florida and Hawaii, did Maine, and I don't know how many states in between, a bunch. I would say on average, I try to squeeze in 10, 12 states a year or something. Yeah. I never know where I'm going. I never plan it out ahead of time. Never do. I don't want to. Try doing that. It wasn't fun.
Just get a wild hair and you're like, I think I'm going to head to Nebraska.
I jump on my Snapchat. I literally just jump on Snapchat and say, "Yo, who's free this week? Got access, public, private, doesn't matter. Let's go."
Oh, cool.
And it's not efficient to literally go from here to here to here to here to here. It's not efficient, but it's great. I get to travel and see places I never would have seen and meet people I never thought I'd ever get to meet, and so I do that. But believe it or not, I love, like I was saying, we own a sport fishing lodge down there in West Palm Beach.
So you guys doing offshore stuff down there? Yeah. That's awesome.
And I absolutely love fishing, but I used to always, probably from the age of 20 to 26, I would guide from about August all the way through mid to late April, do a smidge of turkey hunting on my own, and then I would go down the Keys. And then I would be in Almirada from the end of May, June, July, and the first part of August. And then I'd have to go get ready for early season September hunts. And but I would go down to Almirada, which is the sport fishing capital of the world. Yeah. I love to fly fish. I'm a big fly fisherman. And I would, every day the wind was blowing, I'd go chase tarpon and bonefish and permit. And just, I had a little skiff. And I did that every year till Hurricane Irma absolutely wrecked me. And after that, I said, if I want to keep going to Florida, I got to make some money. So I opened up a turkey camp down there, and
which I'm not surprised to hear that that's doing well. I mean, everybody I talk to is, it's like, oh man, the Osceola. And it's funny because it's like, to me, it's a really underwhelming bird. You look at it and I'm like, it's cool.
It's a dark bird. I mean, honestly, I'll say I got my Merriam's are prettier. It's a dark black winged bird or whatever. They're little bitty. They're like
like velociraptors.
But yeah, they're cool birds. For us, we do a presidential package and all our things. So presidential package includes not just the turkeys, but you get thermal pigs, peacock bass, Goliath groupers, sail fishing out front, diving for spear fishing, stone crabs, lobsters. I love diving nowadays. That's, if I'm not hunting for myself or hunting for work, you can find me typically near the water, and I hope that it's warm enough I can get in it. That's been a newfound love probably in the last 6 or 7 years of spearfishing and diving.
Dude, I might have to hit you up on that, because when I was in Hawaii, I really wanted to do some spearfishing, but I was with my family and everything.
As a bow hunter,
you'd
love it.
I know, it's kind of the whole thing. It's like, oh, here I go again, taking some to the utmost extreme. No, that's awesome, man. Well, I did have a note here. You're still running your giveaway, right?
Yeah,
so
we're still doing a giveaway. Yeah, we just did the first one. Turned out really good. We're doing another giveaway, but I didn't say we're taking a hiatus on it. What we're doing right now is I kind of got ahead of myself. Now that we're doing a second one, I had companies far and wide reach out and was like, yo, I want to get in on this.
Oh, really?
And so we're still doing a giveaway. It's going to be bigger. It's twice as big as the last one as far as what I did. So instead it's 6 dozen full bodies this time. You get an e-collar. You get 2 clones. You get a group of 4 to be able to come on a guided hunt. But at the same time, I've got all sorts of brands trying to figure out what they're going to throw in as far as a sponsorship for us. The ways to enter is we have an Etsy store, OG Snowgy. Yep. We got all sorts of funny, great merch on there. For every $1 you spend on the website is an entry into the giveaway. And then at the same time, if you book a hunt at any of our lodges, whether it be a turkey lodge, duck and goose hunting lodge, the sport fishing lodge, every $1 spent on your hunt is an entry in the giveaway.
I love that. I was looking at some of the merch. Tell me about that mugshot shirt.
So like I said, I fight for my snow geese. I do during snow goose season. I play a persona every year on social media, OG Snowgy, but it's practically my way of telling the world, hey, this is where I'm at chasing snow geese. Do not get in my way or I will run you over. And I've had to run some people over in a couple years. And there was an instance, I guess not allegedly, but there's an instance where some kid from Alberta, me and him didn't see eye to eye, and where I come from, Arkansas, we hunt the X, and where he come from, he traffics, and he was going to teach me a term called short stopping one day, and thought he was going to short stop me. Well, before sunrise, me and him ended up in his wheat field he was set up in playing whose hat can stay dry, and I won, and so So needless to say, I had to go in and get a picture taken on that one.
Yeah.
Which wasn't too bad. I was young, slap on the wrist, local little judge in a little town. She understood. I had the big fancy. I said, man, I got the 5-star lodge right next door over there. She said, I can't. So no matter how bad that Canada kid was crying, she made it easy on me, luckily. But I got a picture. She was nice. She let me go get it in a nice shirt, wear my tie, do my hair.
Your picture looked like nice compared to your buddies. I was like, they just got pulled in.
And then you got a guy, his name's JR. He's from Missouri. Waterfowl assassinators or something. But he's famous that he went to jail too. I think his domestic battery, which I probably would have went to jail for domestic battery too. He's famous because the video went viral, but his old lady literally in a video comes into their guide house and whacks him in the head with a skillet. It sounds like a gong, like dong, like whacks him right in the head. And that video went viral. Well, he reacts, gets a domestic charge. That's his mug shot from that one. Yeah. Happened at the guide house. The customers had to like pull the girl off of him.
Oh my God.
And then the other one's Ricky Ham up there, but king of sitting in a trash can. He's the best of pit hunter there was. I say that his son is. He taught his son what a white goose is. I taught his son how to kill him. His son come down to Arkansas and ran a pit for me. Me and him hunted out of a pit one year, and that little man is making me proud in Arkansas. Yeah. Killing, as long as I'm not in Arkansas, he's killing more geese than anybody.
Yeah.
So we got the three of us, the three pod boss OGs of the snow goose world. All of our mug shots, every state we're from, all on one That's nice awesome. Little hoodie.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I was like, I needed to know the story here because it would just be silly for me to buy something like that without it. But I'm just like, I thought it was really funny.
Right. So,
no, that's great, man.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of everything. We've got merch on there, different lodge merch. The Palm Beach Sport Fishing Lodge's merch will be on there here soon. Living in West Palm Beach, Florida, it's really nice. It's beautiful weather. Because of that, I never had to wear a shirt, and apparently because of that, they talked me into having an OnlyFans. So I do OnlyFans. The world, some of y'all know, a lot of y'all know, but I do OnlyFans. Cole OSO on OnlyFans, and we do some funny waterfowl only. It's not what you, a little bit of what you think. A whole lot of not what you think on my OnlyFans. But we have some raunchier side merch from the Oli side stuff that comes over to the Etsy store. So if you see pinup dolls and different things, it's all stuff that comes from the OnlyFans.
That is so funny. I see, and you're rocking the Lone Oak merch now, yes, and we're in the Lone Oak Lodge.
Yep, this is the newest one. So this is our newest one. We've got a lodge over at Garnett, Kansas. We've been running since 2009. We've got the lodges in Arkansas, but we've been developing property just west of the old lodge, and we just wanted something that was a little bit better accommodations for everybody. Lets you spend more time at the lodge, have a good feel while you're at the lodge. Yeah. And so we went ahead. I purchased a farm last minute. It wasn't something I'd planned on doing, but a farm come available over here in Coffee County that just, for what I'm looking on a waterfowl farm, does not come available often.
Sure.
And so I jumped on the opportunity, and with the opportunity came this, and they're right beside each other. And I said, well, if I'm going to buy and build another duck farm when I didn't plan on it, I got to have somewhere to stay. And so I actually knew of this property here and never knew. I drove by it for years and never knew it was 2-story. And so I tell the guy, like, I'll take it. And he acts like it's probably a lot too big for you and your fiance. And I'm like, no, it'll be fine. I'll take it. And then we get here and I realize how big it is. And I was like, this could sleep 15 guys pretty easy. Yeah. And so next thing we got to remodeling. As you can tell, we're here. It's a new thing. So
I was definitely surprised because I drove up and I was like, okay, it's a cute little place.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how you're going to sleep all these people. But the 2-story part was like, that makes sense.
Right. So living room, quarters, dining, everything up here. But then once we get downstairs, we've got all the bedrooms, the pool rooms, the mud rooms, everything. And like I said, we didn't even acquire this property until September. So it was literally just jamming everything we could into the time that we had. Now we've got a lot of waterfowl property development to do this year, but at the same time, the lodge is getting an overhaul. This year we slept 10. Next year we're going to sleep 15.
Yeah. And so it's obviously waterfowl is your main thing. And it seems like turkey is a close second.
Yeah.
But where does white-tailed deer kind of fall in your program?
I'm just not mad at them. That's definitely one in my book. They're just, in my opinion, for what and everybody's value is different, but what I value deer hunting opportunities for me anymore is they're just too expensive for me to go chase.
Mm-hmm.
At least the opportunities I have. Don't get me wrong. I either go to Arkansas and shoot a doe every year. My mama grew up on me feeding her backstrap,
Mm-hmm.
and that is not going to change. My come muzzleloader season. The first time she sees an orange hat on somebody's dashboard in Arkansas, she's calling me, going, "Where's my backstrap?" and so I've got good friends in Arkansas that take care of her, and it's kind of tradition at the hunting lodges that we have. We always, for blind snacks, we always provide sausage sticks and summer sausage and jerky for the guys. So every year, best way to do it, go harvest a couple big does, take them to the meat processor, get the whole thing turned into summer sticks and jerky, and then be able to pass them out all duck season, all the duck hunting customers. It kind of just comes full circle. I used to be big. When I first got out to Kansas, I started shooting for Martin. Was shooting traditional. Back then it was the Jaguar, then the Jaguar 2. I truly believe I probably have the biggest deer ever killed with a Jaguar, crappy little cheap recurve Martin bow. Shot some giants, man. Absolutely killed some giants. Started hunting the Midwest. Went hunted all throughout the Midwest when I was younger. And then I really got to the point where I started just buying preference points for Iowa, getting ready for that one.
Yeah.
And life happens, and now I got preference points and still haven't been. It's, if they have an expiration date, they may have expired. I don't even know. And
some states are weird like that. They will, and I've seen a lot of guys kind of get into whitetails and chase them around, and chase that whole game, and kind of fall out of it a little bit. Yeah,
especially I see it more with the whitetails than like the guides. I've had plenty of guides come work for me that never hunt again after they go. I see more of those in the big game world than I ever do in the waterfowl world. Yeah. And I think that's a camaraderie thing.
Very much so.
So, and then as far as the whitetails goes, I still get the best of it. Come November, I've got, I don't know, first week of November, I've got probably 30, 40 tenants up here in the woods, just in Kansas, more or less our ground in Missouri or Illinois or Ohio. And so, shoot, every time this country spits out a cold front, boy, I got so many text messages. Every button buck in the county, I'm hearing, just got seen a doe. Here's 4 coming from the west. I still get the best part of it, except I'm not sitting in a tree freezing my butt off if I don't,
You got to really want it for sure.
I get, with the way it works with our guys, we get, electronic harvest report of every one of our tenants. So I get every picture. Yeah. I get the picture of that arrow before his best friend does. Nice. And it's like, oh yeah, how far, where's your farm at? 140 or an hour and 45. You know what? Just sit and stand. I'll be there. I'm going to come recover that one with, and I get to go get the best parts of it. I still get to do the recoveries and the photos and the food plots and the feeders and the cell cams and having relationships with the landowners. And, I just don't have the time to sit and stand myself much anymore.
I know. I really hope I never get to that point, because we live on game meat, and I love chasing big game so much. But you're right. Waterfowl is just so stinking fun. Even being out running around scouting or like just seeing what's going on. It's just when they start coming in, and you can sit here and bullshit with your buddies. Right. I mean, there's been times we've missed flocks and we're like, oh shit.
Right. It'll happen. It'll happen to the best of you.
So I wanted to know, if some people who see this and they're like, man, I really like what Cole's got going on, I want to maybe get a seat in one of his trees or in his blind or something. Do they just get you up on Facebook?
Yeah, you can hit me up on Facebook, Cole Grimley. If you see the Snow G, that's me out there too. That's my little social media persona that we run with. Cole Grimley on Facebook. At the same time, if you're interested in a hunting lease or looking at some of the properties that we have available throughout the country, you can find them always at huntrecrealty.com. Excuse me. I try to tell people, if you don't like what you see that week, give it 2 weeks and we'll have all new properties on there. We go through properties constantly, picking up more properties in this country. At the same time, we've got all the social media platforms for the Hunt Rec Company, our Palm Beach Sport Fishing Lodge, social media platforms there is always Palm Beach Sport Fishing Lodge, palmbeachsportfishinglodge.com. Same thing, the Hawaii company, now it's its own entity, so that's island-49.com, but that company's Island 49 so if you're ever wanting to go to Hawaii and get your bird for your 49 and you're going to go there once and you want the best hunt money can buy, be sure to check us out. Yeah, and then besides that, you can, as far as the Lone Oak brand, you can find it at loneoakducklodge.com or just hit me up on any of my socials.
And so like I was saying earlier, upland birds are becoming more popular in my world.
Yeah.
Are you dabbling in that at all? Are any of your properties good for upland?
Definitely are. I actually keep a property for myself that butts up to a big game preserve here, and my landowner lives there on the small property. He'll call me when they are doing their hunts on the game preserve because they walk right towards my farms. And so as soon as those guys leave, we go over to my place and walk it out. And we shoot at chucker, pheasant, all sorts of stuff on it. Now, our wild population of quail is absolutely thriving compared to what it's been in the last 10 years. Oh, it was so good this year.
I hear reports on the contrary.
Really? No. It was the last 15 years has probably been the worst it ever was. But in the last year was the first year I would say I started to notice more quail. This past year, oh my goodness.
Big old coveys.
Big coveys everywhere.
Yeah.
If we have some time to go look at some properties today, I guarantee we'll see some coveys.
No, absolutely. I'd love to.
It's really good. Really good. So they're on a comeback.
That's great. Because from what, there's all sorts of different. Well, I was running around telling everybody, there's this parasite. And it was coming from this guy who was selling parasite medication. And it turns out it might have been full of shit. So this is me publicly recognizing I'm making a correction that it's just wildlife ebbs and flows. I just think we don't know nearly as much shit as we think we do. That's it.
People don't realize, if we say it all the time, but we just don't implement it sometimes. But the only thing constant is change.
Yeah. So before we wrap up here, I do want you to tell me about the hunts that you did with no one else other than the Slockmaster.
Oh, Mr. Tim. All right. Yeah, this Slockmaster. Hey, Tim Wells, I got to say, is one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met in my life. At that point in time, it was young in my career. I mean, I was a new kid on the block, but big new kid on the block. I had the 5-star lodge. I just put in a second lodge in Arkansas. We had lodges. I had a lodge in Texas at the time. We had put in Nebraska. I mean, we were popping off. And at the time, YouTube was getting big. And so I had every YouTuber and their mother, all right, with 4 subscribers calling me going, hey, I got a YouTube channel. Give me $30,000 free hunt and I'll come in and I'll promote your stuff for you. And so, yeah. And, when it first came out, it was fine. But then it was 3 days a week, you were getting a phone call about YouTubers wanting to do this. And then you get some people who do have some followings. We did a couple of my first TV shows. We've done all sorts of TV shows throughout the years, but we did a couple of TV shows. And finally, I remember I don't remember who it was, but a YouTuber contacted me. And at the time, he had 400,000 subscribers or something.
Which is still a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but back then, I mean, that same channel now is probably, if it had then, it's probably got 4 million now.
Right.
And I said, I can't believe this guy's contacting me. And I was like, you know what? I've done a TV show. This guy's willing to contact me. I bet I could do anybody I want. Or at least I think I'm to the point I can. And so I'm not knowing anybody in the industry or whatever. I go through, I do what I can. My family owned a telemarketing company at the time. And so I was like, hey, I need you to find this guy's phone number. And I'll never forget, I looked up, and I wasn't trying to sell a hunt. I just wanted to, and if I thought I had a big fancy 5-star lodge and I was cool enough to hang out with some cool people. And so I literally told the office, get me Spook Span's number, get me Bill Winkle. I called up Hank Parker. Me and him got to do a little hunting together over the years. He's actually a really cool guy as well. Tim Wells, and I think the Pig Man. Or he's either Pigman or Chris Brackett or somebody. Fear No Evil or something. Yeah. And nobody called me back. Nobody called me back. And the only number they couldn't get me was Tim's. And nobody called me back. And about a week later, I go by my mom's office, and sure enough, they have his number. And I said, okay, well, I call him. I'm at the office. No response. Leave him a voicemail. I'll never forget. I was in Cabin, Arkansas. 30 minutes later, going through the Taco Bell drive-thru, and I had watched his show enough as a kid. When he said hello, I knew exactly who it was. And I was, holy crap, Tim Wells is calling me back. And I said, hey, I know you're a bow hunter, but I've got a 5-star lodge, the world's first 5-star snow goose hunt in the country. We've got a chef that'll blow your socks off. You don't even need socks. We got 12,000 square foot of heated floors. This is a huge doctor's place. Come enjoy it. No cost. invitation, and I was hoping to talk him into doing a film or something, but I wasn't asking him to. And he asked me, he said, "Oh, can I come shoot a TV show?" I was like, "Yeah, come on." And he came in actually originally on a duck hunt. And that property, we had our own private sanctuary. And my reservoir, that all the geese came out that morning. And I didn't realize he's a huge goose hunter. He's a huge goose hunter. He comes from goose hunting. And all these snow geese, like, I don't know, probably 150,000. We were loaded.
Yeah.
Come out over our head and go feed in the fields. And he was just like amazed. And he's like, "What are they doing? Where are they going?" I'm like, "Oh, they're going somewhere out there to the south to go feed." They do it every day. And so we duck hunted. And I'll never forget him. We're sitting on one of my berms. He's flinging arrows and flues all over the county. And he's like, "Cole, I have never had this many hunting opportunities inside, I've never had this many shooting opportunities inside the United States." He's like, "Argentina, Uruguay, this is one thing." He's like, "This is epic." And I was like, "Yeah, you better enjoy it. Like, this is not many people have this opportunity." And then we were just about to call it a day. And then next thing you know, here come all the geese back from a feed somewhere. And they're coming back to the hot tub. And they get on that thing and they start cycloning down. And we're just looking over the trees at this giant tornado of snow geese just stacked to the moon.
Yeah.
And he begs me, "Cole, can we?" And I'm like, "No, you understand, nobody's allowed to hunt that thing. Like, it's a sanctuary." And he convinced me to call my lodge owner, which I thought for sure the answer was no, and was like, "Yo, the TV show guy wants to shoot the reservoir." And he's like, "Hell no." And I was like, "Okay." Well, Tim's like, "Let me call him." I was like, "I don't care if you are Tim Wells. This is a billionaire."
Right.
And I think Dow was like in Saudi Arabia or Dubai or somewhere at the time. I was like, "He's somewhere else.
Yeah.
He didn't have time for you." Somehow, no, he went in there. He went and asked the chef, "Hey, what's the owner of this place phone number?" And Larry's old and doesn't know. He gives him his number. He walks out in the parking lot, comes in, he goes, "Cole, grab your shit, let's go." And I'm like, "Go where?" He's like, "We're going to the sanctuary." And I'm like, "What?" And sure enough, I get a text message from Dow saying, "You can go mess with the geese, don't mess with the ducks, and no guns allowed, bows only."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, how'd you talk to me?" He's like, "Bow."
Yeah.
And we went out there and flung more arrows until I couldn't pick up my arm. When he shows up with these huge Pelican cases already all rigged up, flu's ready to go. Though he had a Tom Bomb Extreme was his broadhead company back then. It's like a guillotine style.
Okay, yeah.
2,500 arrows all ready to go with guillotine broadheads and flu's on them. Dude, we just sat there just slinging them. I had this kid, Zach, working for me, just walking around. We almost killed him so many times, just walking around picking up arrows for us. And just the bloopers from that first year were so great. I almost killed Tim Wells. Like, literally an arrow landed right where he was standing. We barely got out of the way in time. It happened so much. We had a blast. We shot the first snow goose. We shot the first Ross goose. And we shot the first specklebelly ever shot out of the bow on video.
Yeah.
Out of the air with a bow on video.
That is incredible.
And we hit it off. He came back ever since, and since then he's came down to Florida and done the pigs and the Osceolas, and anytime I got an opening that would be a good fit, I always reach out.
So you're
to
like
him.
one of his guys.
I mean, he's got a billion guys like me all over the place, but man, me and him have had some good time. I can't stress enough. Like when Tim's in camp, I used to be like, it's Tim Wells. You don't carry. They carry everything. Cameraman doesn't have to carry nothing. Not like to the nth degree. Now Tim comes to camp. It's hey Tim, grab me a beer kind of thing. He's so cool. He's so down to earth. He's invited me to go to Illinois, so he's got a lodge in Illinois. Yeah. They've got red stag. They've got all sorts of cool stuff. At the time when I used to go, there was a hot tub in Illinois, Canton, Illinois, that was still up and running, and it was a big bird sanctuary, and they dark goose hunt the pits outside. He has like the pits right beside the hot tub. It's like some of the most prestigious dark goose hunting ever. I used to go up there and have fun. He had a nephew that would always take care of us, Jason, that we'd go up and would guide us when we were in Illinois. Jason's came down and shot stuff with me in Arkansas, and great relationship to have. I can't thank Tim enough for being as down to earth and as good to me as he has been.
Man, that's awesome. Because when I first met you, when we were doing like goose hunt, you kind of just like snuck that in there, just a little side note, and I was like, wait a second, I got to hear that story. So I'm glad we were able to make some time to.
But
to
he's
talk
been
about
cool.
that
Literally 1 year, we did it one. Actually, I think we did it 2 years. At least 1 year, I know for sure. He allowed me to actually sell a hunt in Arkansas, which was a bow hunt.
Oh, okay.
And you get to bow hunt geese with Tim Wells.
Wow.
And man, we had people come from all over the world that were just so the biggest fanboys of his life. Or just that was the coolest experience to have those guys sitting beside a hedgerow and as like a gladiator army of archers slinging like rows of it. It was so cool. Now, I don't think we killed. No, I take that back. I think we did kill one. I think we did kill one or two. But, man, that was fun. That was a cool experience to be able to offer that.
That's awesome, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me. I had a lot of fun. This is really good. And, well, we didn't even talk about the shed antler contest, but we're going to go do some shed hunting.
Yeah,
we're going to go find a few.
Yeah, we got to go look at some properties, see if you're interested in anything, talk you into a lease, hopefully. But we got another guy, you just met. He's here to look at some leases. He's actually put a deposit on some property, so he's never even seen his farms, but he wants to go look at some more. So let's go look at some farms, go pick up some antlers, and go see what Southeast Kansas is about.
Good, man. Thank you, bro.
My man,
All right,
thank you.
Appreciate it.